Did you hit it?
Do you dare to follow me down? Head into the unknown. Down the rabbit hole. Where it stops, no one knows. We're going Do you dare to follow me down? Head into the unknown. Na, 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 na.
Hello, 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 everybody. Happy Saturday. Welcome back to Criminality. Or if this is your first time here, welcome to
Welcome to
Criminality.
Criminality.
Today we are still covering the case of the state of Indiana versus Richard Allen, and we are going over the depositions of, today we're doing Trooper Roland Purdy. Purdy, you got a pretty mouth. This one's a little bit longer, so I'm not going to chat too much at the beginning, just so I want to say hi to everybody, all encompassed. Hello to everybody in chat. Thank you guys for being here. I have the lovely Sleuthy Goosey, who will be reading as our witness, Roland Purdy. Hello, Sleuthy.
Hello, Teresa. Or, I mean, Criminality Esquire.
And as you guys all know, I am not a lawyer. I just want to make that very clear. I am not a lawyer. That's why my avatar says, trust me, I'm almost a lawyer, because I just play one when I have to read depositions. So I will be your all-encompassed attorney. I will do my best, as always, to tell you guys when the attorney is changing and which attorney is doing all the questioning. So again, thank you all. Hello to everybody. Thank you guys for being here. Let me share my screen, because Spugs and M's just wrapped up. We're here now. Oh, I didn't even know I didn't know they went live. I've been gone all day. Like, I was even running late. So that's my fault that we're late today. It's not Sleuthy's. I had just gotten home and ran in here to my computer, turned it on.
Yeah. I kicked a baby on my way in the house. Like, I tried to get here. You don't know what I've been through to get here today.
Kicked a baby. Poor baby.
Also, if anybody doesn't know and didn't see it, part 2 of our pig roast live that we did of Lauren's interview with Holman is back. I'm still waiting for YouTube. They got back to me. I thought they got back to me really fast after I sent that order. They immediately were like, okay, it's reinstated. But then I went and realized it was only part 2. So I emailed them back and I was like, what about part 1? Need part 1. It's like the majority of it.
Yeah,
So
now
we'll
it's
see.
Saturday. So you might not hear anything. Who knows? But at least part 2's back. I mean, like, we're on the right track, you know? So if you guys, for anybody who doesn't know what she's talking about, when Lauren from Hidden True Crime had interviewed Jerry Holman, we had gone on Sleuthy's channel and done a 2-part watch it and essentially just roast the shit out of it. And it was like 4-hour lives, like, each day, just roasting the shit out of this interview. And of course, Hidden True Crime did not like that. And so she actually took Sleuthy, or she filed a copyright on Sleuthy. And then because of the way that YouTube works, Sleuthy had to, counterclaim, like, hey, it's fair use. We talked through the whole thing. And then Lauren, the way that the system works, Lauren then has to take it and say, I'm filing with the federal copyright, like she can't have it. And so then YouTube freezes it because Lauren did take it to the copyright board, not the federal copyright court, but the federal copyright board. Those are two different things. And then because she did that, Lauren turned in all that paperwork to YouTube where it showed like she was going to be following through, which of course she did not follow through. So then Sleuthy had to wait the appropriate amount of time for that to be dismissed at the copyright board, and then send that documentation that everything was dismissed over to YouTube, and then YouTube reinstates it. But as of right now, they've only reinstated the one. So yeah, we did this back in fucking April.
Yeah, I think they didn't realize that she struck 2 videos in one copyright strike.
Yeah, so
but then again, I feel like then they should have automatically gone back up. But I don't know. There's absolutely zero reason not to reinstate part 1 as well. I mean,
right. So those should be back up, and then well, at least
it was Christmas time. It was Christmas time last year. Yeah,
was it Christmas time? God, it was a really
They're right.
long time ago.
Yeah, it was like the 28th or something of December.
Hot diggity damn, that's a long time ago. Yeah, so still fighting that stupid thing, and hopefully it'll just be back up. And then at that point, there's nothing Lauren can do because she failed to follow through. What a surprise! So just once again using the power of the system to intimidate and harass another YouTuber into taking down their information so that nobody can watch it there.
She don't want the criticism,
right? And then yet she
so
doesn't.
I looked it up and
like, go ahead and criticize me. I don't care. Criticize me all you want to.
Yes, she. I read that she probably can restrike them. But it would be harder to like beat a like if I were to counter strike and say she's already struck me for these. She filed in order to just keep it off of my channel for 90 days or whatever it was. And then did not follow through. Like really what she did was she paid the $40 to file so that it would stay off for 90 days so that people had nowhere to watch it except for her channel. Mind you, my channel is not monetized. It's not monetized and it was fair use.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
So, and honestly, I watched it today on my way here. And we said some really good shit. It was a good live.
It was a good live. It was too good live. It was. Dude, we see some.
Well, I need to see the other one. Yeah, I need to see the other one. But I'm thinking, somebody needs to review our review like quickly so that she can't strike everybody.
Well, I mean, she could try. Okay,
I bet she's never been punched in the face.
And it shows. Oh shit. Okay, so today we are doing Roland, Purdy, and I think we start off with like redactions, I think, right away, if I remember correctly. Yes, let me see. Make sure I'm at the right spot.
What kind of voice do we think this guy has?
I don't know. I feel like he like talks like this, like the teeth closed.
Like through his teeth, like he's still trying to smile.
Apparently he agreed. Did he not look like his face looks like he talked with his teeth closed?
He looks like he did that stuff at the tanning bed where you paint your teeth and then you go lay in the tanning bed and it's supposed to whiten your teeth.
Glasses over your eyes. You got to put the little glasses, the little tiny ones, and so it just covers the eye. You know what I mean? That's his tan line right there.
That or he did spray tan for his picture that he was clearly excited to take. I can't do the lisp. I tried. It's too hard.
All right, give me a second. Hold on.
Mm-hmm. No, I can't lick my lips a whole bunch because didn't anybody tell them that's how you get chappy lips? I mean, that's gross. You can't be licking your lips in the wintertime.
Okay. Oh man. He came in right at the right time. He saw that photo.
He saw that on the screen?
Yeah, and he was like, yes. Oh, man.
I picture him like stumbling backwards, like
Your
nobody
little-
was. Oh God!
I got a little mini me. Okay, so we have what? We start off redacted? 1, 2. No, we don't start off redacted. We just start off with nothing. That's weird. Okay.
I think those are probably it's indexes. So somebody must be asking questions somewhere where they don't want us to know, I'm assuming. Or
Okay. That's not
wait.
the beginning of the depo.
No, I bet you that those 2 pages that are redacted are probably exhibits.
Oh, okay.
Like names of exhibits and whatnot.
Oh, okay. With the girls' names on them.
I reckon.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys for being here. Again, we're going to get started. So I am starting as Mr. Baldwin. State your name for the record.
It's Roland Richard Purdy, Purdy.
How do you spell your first name?
Roland, Roland.
To your knowledge, are there any other Roland Purdys in the state police?
Not to my knowledge, so.
We laughed because this morning we had the wrong, and Rosie says Harper. Baldwin says Harper, which is what Rosie in chat was telling us the other day, was that they had got the wrong Harper. I did find out that they never deposed the correct Harper. So we brought in the wrong Harper, and then we were all confused. So I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other ones.
Okay, so what, if anything, did you do to prepare for today's deposition?
I took a shower. I read through case reports. I was given access to the case reports. And as you know, there's a ton of them. So I was trying to find mine just to kind of refresh what I've done while I was here.
Okay, and I'm presuming you've been through a few depots in your day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So the main thing is I'll try to get you to stay on task with a yes or no instead of uh-huhs or uh-uhs.
Okay.
And I will try to ask good questions that don't get too convoluted. If I do, I want you to say, that doesn't make any sense, Andy, because please ask a different question or rephrase it, and I'll be happy to do that.
Okay.
All right, good. Other than review, and you said you were given access. What did you mean by that? You were given access to these reports?
Before I couldn't get into the state police report on the homicide. There, access is not, so not all troopers can get into the reports and read the report. So I had to ask for access so that I could get into it.
Who did you ask permission of?
Jerry Holman.
So this is one of our struggles. Jerry Holman is an idiot, and we don't like him. Wait, that's not what it says. So this is one of our struggles, is trying to understand how all the information gathered, where it went, and who has access to it. So at some point in time, did you have access to all of the reports?
Yes.
And then at some point in time, you no longer had access to the reports.
When I was no longer working here in Delphi on this investigation, then I no longer had access to the reports.
And is that just something you knew and understood, or did somebody tell you you no longer have access to the reports?
I guess I was told that I no longer had access, or I got on the report and I couldn't get into my reports. One or the other. I don't recall how I found out.
And approximately when would that have been that you found out you no longer had access to your reports?
Probably March of 2018. I'm thinking that's pretty much the last that I had worked on the case.
Okay, we'll get to that too. Since when was the last time you talked to anybody about the Delphi case?
Probably this week.
Who did you talk to?
I talked to Tony Portwood. He had told me he had gotten a subpoena.
Okay.
And talked to Jerry Holman about it.
How in depth was that conversation? How in depth was that conversation with Jerry Holman?
Not real in depth, not a lot of information.
And in terms, I never understand ranking and all of that. It always confuses me. Where's Jerry Holman to you in terms of the state police hierarchy?
He would be 2 ranks above me.
Okay. I need somebody to explain that. I appreciate that. And you talked to, what did Portwood, what was that conversation about with Portwood?
Tony asked if I had gotten a subpoena, said that he had gotten a subpoena.
Not much more than that.
And not much more than that.
Okay, so I have an issue with this off the top of my head because Portwood said that they talked because they were at the state fair and he was telling him what kind of questions were asked. No?
Mm-hmm.
So that means they talked multiple times because they
Also, I think
supposedly,
we're out of order.
well, we are, but that means, that's what I'm saying. So like that means that how would he know what questions were, how would Portwood know what questions were asked of Purdy unless that happens after this deposition? You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I still don't understand that.
So
I
they
think
had to have
they,
more than one conversation.
yeah, I think they just used that. Like, I think they used them being together at the state fair so that it didn't look like they were just reaching out to each other to talk about these depositions.
But they absolutely had to have.
Right.
Okay, have you talked to Tony Liggett lately?
No, I saw him the other day, but I have not. Just, how are you doing?
Where'd you see him?
At the, what's the building where they have their office now?
Okay, so somewhere here in Delphi?
Yeah, somewhere here in Delphi.
Is that when you were looking up your reports?
No, I actually came over here for a meeting.
Oh, okay. Unrelated to Delphi?
Oh, it was related to Delphi, just to speak with the prosecutor.
Oh, okay. So, okay, gotcha. So you also talked to the prosecutor at some point in time.
Yes.
Okay, and when was that?
Friday? This last Friday?
This past Friday.
Yeah.
That would be I think today's the 21st, so the 18th maybe? It sounds about right.
I'd have to look at my phone.
Okay, that's okay. Friday around the 18th, I think. All right. Well, just give me a little bit about your background. Where are you from? Where did you go to high school?
I grew up in Archibald, Ohio.
Oh, where's that?
It's west of Toledo.
Okay.
So I was a city policeman in Archibald for 10 years. And then I joined the state police. I've got almost 27 years on, well, almost 28 years on the state police now.
Wow, 28. So how old are you?
I'm 57.
Okay, I'm the same year, 56, 57.
Yeah.
Okay, you graduated in 84 from high school?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just curious, how did you end up from Ohio to Indiana?
At the time in Ohio, it was my hometown. My dad had been the police chief when I got hired. And it was just, I'd always wanted to be a state trooper. And I thought, if I don't do it now, I'm getting older. And if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. So, Ohio at the time, their testing process was different. And I didn't want to be a highway patrolman. So, and Indiana was hiring. So, I applied over here.
Okay, where was your first job out of?
Fort Wayne.
Okay, and if you don't mind, daggone it, let me just get out of the way here. All right, so I think that helps. All right, so give me kind of your movements. You were in Fort Wayne for so long, and then you moved to another post and all that kind of stuff.
So, I worked out of the Fort Wayne post when I was first graduated from the academy. I worked the road. So, I graduated in 95 from the academy. I worked the road primarily in LaGrange and Noble counties until 2007, approximately, where I was placed on an identity theft task force through the U.S. Postal Service. So I investigated identity theft cases for, boy, now you're maybe 5 years approximately. And then from there, I was put in the organized crime and corruption unit. And then leading up to 2017, there was talk I was going to go into the FBI as a task force officer. So in 2017, the FBI did my background investigation. And while I was waiting to get the results from my background investigation, they sent me to Delphi because I didn't have access to any of the federal computers or anything like that. So I came over here and worked leads.
Did
What?
that kind of derail the FBI task force?
No, I was actually on the task force then once I left here. Actually, my March 2018 is when my credentials came in.
Oh, okay.
So I went back to the
So did you work with Greg Barency then?
No, I talked to Greg Ferenczi once, but I'd never met him.
Okay, because I think he was on the FBI task force.
He was, I think. See, you yawned, and they're contagious.
Sorry.
I think down south somewhere.
Terre Haute?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think, see, I don't understand that either. I would think, oh, they're all together, the task force.
Yeah.
But they're all over the place, is that right?
Yeah. I know he was a task force officer, but like I said, I'd never met him.
Well, we'll be getting to him in a second. And so when you did the identity deception investigation for 5 years, that's kind of like the Catch Me If You Can type crimes. The movie where people are, is that what that is?
Yeah. It seemed like at the time it was more illegal aliens using Americans as identities to work under. And then eventually towards the end of it, it was credit card, people using other people's credit cards.
Okay, so not as exciting as catching the bad guys.
I enjoyed it, but yeah, no, it wasn't that exciting.
Hold on real quick.
Hmm. Thomas. Oh God, how dare she yawn?
Okay, sorry.
Hmm.
Well, it's a big problem. My son had that issue. It's somewhat settled. All right. I wanted to ask, okay, particularly about how did you kind of explained a little bit of how you got involved in the Delphi case. How did you get called? Like, did you volunteer? How does all that work?
Initially, they were looking for volunteers. I volunteered and came over and was just following up on leads.
And when you volunteer, do you have to like go to your commander and say, "Hey, I'd like to volunteer," or how does that work?
I don't know if they put out an email just asking for volunteers. I don't recall.
Hold on real quick again, sorry.
Huh? You're fine.
Okay. Um, okay.
How that came about.
And when you show up, I'm just trying to imagine this. You just kind of show up and say, "Hey, I'm here to help." How do you know who to talk to and who did you talk to?
I think they told us who to talk to. I believe Jerry Holman was here and kind of gave a briefing beforehand. And then, if I'm correct, I think they teamed you up with somebody and then provided you a lead, and you went out and investigated it and came back.
Did they team you up with someone?
Yes.
And who was that?
Jim Burkhart was, I know I was with him a couple times. Al Martinez, I know I was with him. And I only recall because I was reading some of the reports.
And what about Kevin Murphy? Were you ever paired with him?
Yes.
And who, once you kind of got into the rhythm of investigating or helping with the Delphi murder investigation, who were you reporting to?
I would say Jerry Holman as well as my own supervisors. I would have had to let them know.
Who were your supervisors at the time?
Joe White, he would have been my sergeant at the time.
Okay, I'm sorry, I have to take a break really quick. I
You're fine.
apologize. Give me a second.
Don't apologize. No one recalls anything. No one knows anything. No one knows who did anything. No one remembers what they were doing. Nobody remembers if they wrote anything down. They know they didn't write it in Word because they would not use Word. That is so beneath the Indiana State Police. But Nick remembers exactly what he was doing when Kathy Shank found the tip. You're right. I'm hungry. But it feels so late now. It's been dark for like hours. Oh, I made broccoli the other day and I didn't have my steamer. I only had um my pot. So I was like, I'm just gonna boil it. Like as long as I keep an eye on it, it'll be fine, right? Well, then I got a call at work that ended up lasting way longer than it should have. And by the time I got off the call, I went and checked, and like most of the water had boiled out of it. And I knew it wasn't going to be good, but I tried to force myself to eat it anyway. It was mush. It was awful. What's someone, Kate? It's echoing in here. I'm alone. I should eat something though. I don't want to be munching in your all's ears. Oh, burgers sound fucking delicious. I'm too hungry for all that. Let's see. No, I'm just in my house. It must be bare. Um, most of the stuff that I buy is for my kids, so I don't really have anything here for me. Oh, I have some meatloaf that I made that's in the freezer. I guess I could heat that up. No, I don't get corn dogs from the gas station. When I was a kid, though, we used to always get the hot dogs from Sheets because they were like, what were they, four for $1 or two for $1? Does anyone remember? Anybody remember that? Sheets. And we didn't have a Sheets near us, so the only time we would see it is if we were like driving out to the outlets, and my mom would make sure we stopped at Sheets so we could get hot dogs. Oh, that sounds so good, Thomas. Oh my God, I'm so hungry. Oh, blueberry cheesecake. It still might be a white trash thing, I guess, but yes, I do. I use breadcrumbs. I don't use crackers. And I think if I didn't have any breadcrumbs, I probably wouldn't use crackers. I think I probably just wouldn't make it. But breadcrumbs, the Italian style breadcrumbs. And I put in a packet of onion soup mix too. Okay, here's a question. Do you all put brown gravy on your meatloaf or like the red gravy? If you answer wrong, I'm going to start blocking you. Okay, Kate. Oh my God, what is wrong with you people? I could see ketchup. I could see putting ketchup on it. No, I gotta have brown gravy on it. Dude, meatloaf with brown gravy, mashed potatoes, and corn. Yum. Okay, now maybe I will have that. Barbecue sauce, I cannot say. I can't put, I don't even like the smell of it. I don't know why. Like if somebody else is eating barbecue sauce near me, I feel sick. Absolutely brown gravy. You don't know what red gravy is? It's like Like pasta sauce. I've had rice and meatloaf. It's not bad. But I don't put it in mine. I usually just do the breadcrumbs. Um, the onion soup mix. When I was younger, I used to make it with ketchup. Like I used to put some ketchup in it. Um, an egg per pound. And did I say breadcrumbs? Mm. Hot fries to make meatloaf? Like what? As like the breadcrumbs? Is it spicy? No, not boiled eggs. Mm-mm. Just like, because it could get really dry. Yes, it is spicy. I do like hot fries.
Sorry.
You're fine. We're just over here making each other starve to death.
Okay.
What do you put in your meatloaf?
I don't eat meatloaf. Don't like it.
Oh,
So I don't put anything in it. My mom, when she would make it, she put oatmeal and barbecue sauce.
oh. Maybe that's why you don't. Maybe that's why you don't like it. Somebody said they put hot fries in it, like instead of breadcrumbs. I really like hot fries, and I really like meatloaf. I might try that. I might make a really small one, maybe. If it stays spicy, though. But if it don't stay spicy, I don't see the point. She said it does.
What are you supposed to put in it if that's not what you're supposed to put in it?
Um. So I obviously put in ground meat and a packet of onion. This is just me. A packet of onion soup mix, like the dry stuff, and Italian style breadcrumbs, and usually like an egg per pound. And I mix it all up. And then I put brown gravy on it.
Yeah, no, I don't really like that. I don't really like meatloaf.
It kind of what I make kind of tastes like a burger, like just a big loaf of burger, a big burger loaf. Yeah, all this meatloaf talk. I think I'll probably have to pull a slice out of the freezer. All right, ready?
Yep.
I don't.
I think I'm on line one.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, this is where where guys like me just get confused about stuff. So you got the Delphi. You say Jerry Holman that you're reporting to, and then you're like direct supervisor.
I would have had a direct supervisor who would check, if I'm getting overtime or what hours I'm working, that type of thing.
Okay, but
Not necessarily details on. However, I later in the investigation was asked to look into the geofence numbers that were captured in the geofence, phone numbers. And Joe White, who was my sergeant, was my partner.
okay, so he did get into some of the action in the Delphi,
Right.
but 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 mainly, and if it's not accurate, just tell me. But mainly, that's like a guy that's like, hey, how's it going? How many hours you work this week? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. I don't know that he got exact details, so to speak, of what I was doing.
But then you think mainly those details from your investigation of the Delphi case would go to Jerry Holman?
I think so. I think that's who was reading the case reports.
There's been a lot of we've done, oh gosh, a number of depositions up to this point, and there's the phrase that I've come to know, it's unified command. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Who to your knowledge was on the unified command?
I would say Jerry Holman, Jay Harper, Kevin Hammond, Tony Liggett, Rich Davies, which was the FBI. That's pretty much
I think after you left, we've also heard about Vito. Is
okay. Yeah, that's not a name familiar to me anyway.
okay. I think those were the names that we keep hearing. So, all right, that's it. That's that. And who, to your knowledge, when you were working with Kevin Murphy, did he report to?
That I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he was on a task force and was assigned to Delphi or what his status was with the state police.
What about Jim Burkhart? Do you know who he?
Jim Burkhart is an auto theft investigator.
So when Burkhart and you were, working together for a period of time on the Delphi investigation, do you know who he reported to?
He would have probably kind of the same thing would have gone to Jerry Holman, if I remember correctly. I think I pretty well typed up the reports when I did things with Burkhart. So, and we were together on the same thing. I don't know if he was here after other than with me. I'm not sure how many times he came. You didn't always have the same people that you went out with.
Okay, and while on the topic of typing out reports, what was kind of the like? Let's say you go interview Joe Blow, and you would want to memorialize that interview. How would you memorialize it?
On a case report.
Okay, and is that the like an official state?
That's a state police incident supplemental report.
And did you take like field notes or hand notes as well?
At times, yeah. Sometimes if it was recorded, I wouldn't take as many. I would refer back to the recording.
And if you did record it, how would that be noted for guys like me who are now trying to?
It would probably be listed in the case report, in the supplement that it was recorded. And then our recordings would be submitted as evidence. It would, at the time, it would have been a disc that we would have put in an evidence bag and it would have been taken.
Oh, okay. How if you did record, how were you recording? Like the
I didn't have at the place where we were talking to people in Delphi, they had a room that had audio and visual recording.
oh,
So it would have been done in that. So deleted.
so gone. Yeah, nobody
Yeah,
can find that. Did you go? I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think you also went out into the field and met people.
right.
What if you were going to record those conversations?
That would have been done probably on a tape recorder. I'm not sure I had a tape recorder at the time. So
Okay, all right. And then whatever was recorded at the Delphi station, whether it was audio or video, that would reduce to a disc and then turned into.
that would have been, it would have had a storage I didn't have access to. So I'm not sure who would have turned that in or what they would have done with it. So
Oh,
yeah,
all right. And I was going to ask you about Greg Ferenczi. You only talked to him, you think, one time?
I think one time on the phone.
Okay, was that related to Delphi?
Yeah.
And do you remember what it was about?
I know that he was going to talk to Brad Holder's wife.
Okay.
But I don't remember what the details were.
Okay. And how would it have come into being that you ended up talking to Ferenczi for the one and only time about him, Ferenczi going and talking to Amber Holder?
I know Kevin Murphy and him were working together. And I think Kevin had told him that Kevin and I had been working together. And so he was wanting to call me and, touch base with me on that and see if there was anything I knew that he didn't.
Okay, so Greg Ferenczi, you think reached out to you based upon Murphy saying something to him that would, I don't know why I keep reading.
Oh, that would be my guess. Yeah.
And do you remember the substance of that conversation?
I don't. I remember that just that it had to do with Brad Holder's wife or ex-wife at the time. I know they were going to talk with her.
Okay, so do you think that the conversation that you had with Greg Ferenczi happened before Greg talked with Amber Holder or after Greg talked with Amber? Okay, so we have two pages of redactions, and then all of a sudden I'm asking Becky Patty?
Boy, I don't know. I don't think. I know I had interviewed her once, but I don't think it was on that interview. I think it was just in passing.
And how long had you been on the case, roughly, when you first heard about the Odinite possibility?
Maybe a couple months.
And so when did you start?
As far as that,
Yeah, like that's not a good question. When did you first kind of come onto the scene and start assisting in the investigation of the murders in Delphi?
I would say March of 2017.
And so you think it was maybe May or so when you first heard the word Odin or Odinite of 2017?
I would say at least May, June.
May, June of 2017?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm thinking of the record.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, we've got two pages of redactions. I'm always thinking about how it's going to lay out on the page. So when I'm about to start a bad question, I always stop. That's what strike that means. So when Jerry Holman told you that the Purdue University person that reviewed the stick formation said it was inconclusive, what then happened related to your involvement in the Odin angle of the investigation?
At some point, and I'm not sure when it was, but at some point they said if we wanted to look into that, they wanted the crime solved. So they were happy to have somebody look into it.
And who is they?
I would say Jerry Holman. I'm trying to think of the second in command. Oh, let me think.
Was it one of the
He works under Jerry Holman in Lafayette.
Unified Command people? Rosie pipes in. He's like, Harper?
No, it wasn't in Unified Command.
And Baldwin says, oh, well, that's okay.
I worked with him at Notre Dame. I'm trying to think. Anyway.
One of those things that will be nagging at you and you'll remember it when you're on your way home.
Yeah. So I could call you on my way home when it hits me.
So the second in command to Holman was somebody else that said, go ahead and look into the Odin angle.
I believe. And I believe he gave me a copy of what Purdue University had provided them.
Okay, but it wasn't a dead issue, this Odinite angle, based upon the Purdue University report. Is that?
No.
Okay, let me ask it this way. Is that correct way to say that? Like that the Odinite angle was not a dead issue once the Purdue report came in?
That's correct.
Okay. Were you given any direction from Jerry Holman in terms of how to investigate the Odinite angle, or was that kind of up to you?
I think it was pretty well up to me.
And who else, to your knowledge, was also investigating the Odinite angle?
I worked with Lori Lemler.
Lori Lumler?
Lemler, Lemler.
Do you know if that's like Lorie or Lau?
I think it's actually the Lords. Lourdes, I think is her actual name. She goes by Lori.
Okay, so that one. Lori was one of the people working on the Odinite angle. Who else that you know of?
And that's all that I recall. I think I primarily worked with Lori.
Okay, and I want to talk about Lori in a second, but I'm not specifically talking about, when I asked that question, I didn't ask it very well, who you worked with, but more specifically, who do you know that was working on the Odin angle?
I think Lori and I were the only ones.
Because I know earlier you said that Greg Ferenczi had called about Brad Holder.
Right.
So would that be another person?
That would have been after I was gone, though. I mean, after I left Delphi, I didn't know who was doing what at that point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So Lori Lemler.
Lemler. I want to get that right. That is a new name I haven't heard. Is she still with the state police?
Yes.
And where does she work?
Out of the Bremen district.
Oh.
She's a detective.
Okay. And is it like I think about it on television where you guys are cop buddies and you're in a car and you're driving around and going around, or is it more you're going around and like knocking on doors together, or is it you're doing things independently, or how's that working?
We were looking at all aspects of the crime. I mean, just because it's an Odinist, we were looking at all aspects of the crime. I mean, just because it's an Odinist doesn't mean that, that person killed the girls. I mean, there's plenty of Odinists. So
Redacted. We don't get to know.
Huh.
That's interesting.
I mean, he literally says there, just because it's an Odinist that killed them doesn't mean it's that Odinist. There's other Odinists.
Right.
And then they redact a page. Cool, cool.
Okay, tell me about Tony Portwood.
I remember talking to him about the sticks on the body and showed him it didn't have the bodies, but it was the stick formation, wanting to know if this is an odinous stick formation, so to speak.
Okay, and what did Tony say?
Tony kind of gave me a little bit of a breakdown of the odinists, that you had people who grew up odinists that were patriotic and family people, and then in the like 1880s or so, kind of the Nazis started bastardizing Odinism a little bit. He gave me the example of the swastika, that in his side of Odinism, a swastika is like a peaceful symbol, but the Nazis made it into their symbol, of violence. And so he thought maybe the sticks were possibly part of the other side, not the side that he was from.
Okay, so Tony Portwood did practice Odinism. Is that?
I said that, and he said maybe like a branch of Odinism. He didn't like me calling him an Odinist, so I'm not sure if they're different. So yes, some type of.
Well, that's interesting. He's a Norse paganist, but not an Odinist, just like Robinson. Okay, so I'm apparently in the middle of a sentence after some redactions. Off with this. Did Tony Portwood ever tell you, nah, this is definitely not Odinist stick figurines on the girls or in the tree? Definitely not. Did he ever say anything like that?
No.
Is Purdy the one who Bob said at the 3-day hearings totally downplayed anything related to Odinism?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, that is this dude right here.
I also, or was it Winters that was given Brad Holder's Facebook? That was Winters, I think. So, but yes, the answer to you is yes. I was going to go off on a whole different thing.
Yeah, Portwood says he's not an Odinist, but if you recall, going back through my old
The most
lives,
famous reindeer of all.
do you recall? You're so Christmassy right now; it's ridiculous. No, so when the guards at Westville had to do their affidavits, one of them said, "I'm not an Odinist; I'm a Norse paganist."
Mm-hmm. And that some of the symbols are runes that are used in Odinism, but also in Norse paganism.
So who knows? Where was I? Did I do that? No. Okay, hold on. Okay, did you learn about the Odin angle, generally speaking, from any other source other than from the Beverly Shores police captain or police chief and Tony Portwood?
Those were the only two that I could come up with.
Next, and did you do it, and did you independent research? Did you independent research like I've done on the internet, Google it? Did you ever Google?
Oh yeah, I definitely would have looked into it.
All right. So now we will go into a little bit more specific. We talked about generally, how did you learn about Odinism, generally speaking? What specifically did you then do to investigate Odinism in this case? Who did you look into, and how did that all kind of take me step by step, if you would?
I remember I looked into Brad Holder, just pulled up the file and was reading back then, and Brad Holder had been cleared. I believe a deputy from, I think the county is like New Buffalo, but I'm not sure. Or the city is New Buffalo where he worked. And I believe there was a deputy that went to there and confirmed that he was at work. At one point, I actually went to the workplace and they confirmed that yes, he had been at work, and they also had cameras. But of course, when I got there, it was long and the camera had long been gone. And I never did learn if it had ever been recorded.
I know from at least knowing the case that Brad Holder was talked to by some officers up in Hammond, Indiana, the officer was from Hammond. I don't think the interview happened up there. I don't have the interview, so I don't know. And on February 17th, just three after the girls were found murdered, they interviewed Brad Holder, and he gave it in the alibi. And if you were this is like the stupidest sentence. If you were the person that heard that interview, right now I want to be like, Baldwin, I don't understand what the fuck you're saying. Can you please rephrase this? The person that heard that interview, what would you have done at the New Buffalo? I kind of guess it's a landfill type of place to verify that Brad Holder's alibi stood up.
Well, if I had video, I would have looked to see if I saw him on video
Okay, so
just to confirm that he was there. I'm not sure what their, clocking in consisted of or anything like that. So
but would you expect whoever would be investigating that to look into the video of Brad Holder, whether he was at work that day or if it was available, and then
I would have. So I don't know. Yeah.
okay. And also I want to ask while we're talking about this part of it, because you started by saying I looked into Brad Holder. I guess I should ask this. How was it that you knew to look into Brad Holder? Was that Becky Patty?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Becky Patty statement.
One of the things that I'm way too transparent as a lawyer. I'll tell you, it's not a good trait. But one of the things that I thought about when looking into Brad Holder as a suspect here is, well, he don't need to be there necessarily. He could have his minions taking care of business like Charlie Manson did or Charles Manson. Was that a thought that you had in your brain? Like maybe he was at work, but maybe somebody else did this on his behalf.
I guess I didn't think necessarily. I figured he'd been cleared, and I didn't know of any real motive that Brad would have had to kill the girls.
Okay, when you say cleared, that's another. We're trying to understand because I see words at the bottom of these state police reports. Like, what does cleared mean?
I would say eliminated as a suspect, or at least the lead unfounded type thing.
What about the phrase covered? Is that the same thing if it says covered at the bottom of the page?
I guess it depends who wrote it or what they meant.
So when you talked to Holman about Holder, was it your understanding that Holder had been cleared at that point in time as a suspect?
See, I don't recall. I don't recall if I read it in a report or if Holder had told me that or Holman had told me that.
Okay, so we kind of left off before I got sidetracked there with you're going through Holder's file and you saw that his alibi, at least by the people that investigated it, had checked out. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, then what did you do next in your Odinite angle investigation?
I know I looked probably at Patrick Westfall's because, he was from Delphi. I would have looked at his file as well.
Okay, and what led you to investigate Patrick Westfall as a person that murdered?
I don't remember if Brad Holder's file mentioned Patrick Westfall or if just he was from, yeah, I don't recall why I would have looked at it.
And again,
Sure.
I think it is fair to say that you're looking, generally speaking, you said it earlier, for connections
That's correct.
between these people that are Odinous and the crime scene. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay, and even connections with each other and with other people, is that part of what's important in doing an investigation?
I'm looking for who committed the crime.
Okay, so what did your Patrick Westfall investigation tell you or inform you, if anything?
That I don't recall. That's been 6 years.
Sure.
And I don't recall it seemed like Patrick was with his son on the day of the murders, but I don't recall.
I think that's what you said.
Much more than that.
Fuck, hold on a second.
Mhm. That's my cue, people. That's my cue to get up and start making some mashed taters for my meatloaf. I have not seen Becky Patty's statement, but I do know just from the Frank's memo that that's what happened. That Purdy went and talked to Becky Patty because Becky Patty said she had information like on Brad Holder and that he was an Odinist or Odinite. Like they didn't come up with that on their own. I think that was her word, actually. Let's see. He said he kind of did. Okay, so Thomas must not have been here in the beginning. He said he kind of did prepare, but that some was kind of interesting. Some of the shit that he was trying to read, the reports and stuff, even the ones that he authored, he like didn't have any access to. And then he figured that Holman was the one that got rid of his access because he's not working on the case anymore. Isn't that weird? Like, I'm sorry. I feel like those are mine. Like, I feel like those are my notes.
Yeah, like I can't even access my own shit from investigations I've done.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
that's.
I like Chelsea's response to Thomas. Like, Thomas, no, he did not do that. He was busy. He got a spray tan instead.
I mean, hello.
Oh, shit. Carrie Sherry, no. According to Anna, she did not know that Abby had a boyfriend or who it was. That was all new to her.
Phew, I could not make it smaller. I thought we were stuck with him on the screen the rest of this time. Got a pocket full of tonight.
Oh, I don't even know where I'm at.
Hold on, because I'm gonna boil this water.
Okay.
Okay. Well, no, not okay yet, because I didn't walk back over to my.
I don't even know where I'm at. No. I think that's what you said. More than that. Okay, here was anybody else there? Yeah. Okay, I got you.
Where are we?
Was anybody else other than you, to your knowledge, looking into Patrick Westfall? Was there?
It would have been Lori Lemlerith.
And again, getting back to that question, were you and Lori like meeting up from time to time?
Yes.
Okay.
We were working together.
Were you going out together too?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you ever talk to Brad Holder?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
We figured he'd been cleared. We were curious what Odin meant to him, what it was. Oh, so he talked to him as a subject matter expert. I knew I didn't make that up.
Yep. No, you definitely did not. He thinks that, yeah, he's a subject matter expert.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. Okay, tell me where did you meet him and approximately when?
We met him in Logansport, I believe.
That's where he's from?
And he told us that he walked around in woods looking for Odin speaking to him through sticks. And that's why he had all these stick formations on his, he felt that Odin had put those sticks for him to find. Ooh, child, that don't sound good at all.
No, it doesn't. Okay. Did he Brad Holder tell you that yes, he has been to the Monon High Bridge area?
We didn't talk to him about the homicide. We talked to him about Odinism.
Okay. And was that you and Lori together?
Yes.
All right. And was that audio taped?
You got one more word.
Videotaped?
I don't know if it was or not. Like I said, I didn't have one, so I don't know if that was recorded or not.
Then would you take handwritten notes, or how did that end up memorialized, that conversation with Brad Holder? Well, it didn't, because nobody seemed to know that it even happened.
I believe we would have taken handwritten notes, but I couldn't find any on mine.
Yeah. Okay, so when approximately did you talk to Brad Holder? If you started in May or June of 2017 investigating the Odin angle, when would you think along the way you would have probably met?
I would have said probably July or August.
Of 2017?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So other than getting actually, I would say Brad Holder gave you another kind of an overview of Odinism.
Yes.
From his angle.
I'm nodding my head.
Yes?
Yes, sorry.
No, you're good, you're good. Did Brad Holder talk about Patrick Westfall if you remember?
I don't recall.
So what was the purpose of talking to Brad Holder, you and Lori, when you talked to him?
I think since he was Logan's father, we wanted to talk to somebody close just to kind of see what he had to say.
Okay, did any alarm bells go off when you talked to Brad Holder?
Not that I recall, no.
Did you think there should be a report out there of your conversation with Brad Holder?
I don't know if I would have typed one or if Lori would have typed one.
But one of you two probably did?
Probably, but I don't recall.
All right. Well, have you heard of Elvis Fields?
Yes.
Okay, tell me what you know about Elvis Fields.
I went with Kevin Murphy to speak with Mary Jacobs, which would be a sister of Elvis.
And we'll get to that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got off track here because you were saying, I first kind of looked at Brad Holder, then you ended up talking to Brad Holder. I looked into Patrick Westfall. Did you talk to Patrick Westfall?
No,
Okay, and why did you not talk to Patrick Westfall?
I don't recall.
Okay, and you don't know of anybody that did talk to him?
I know there was a report that somebody had, but I don't recall.
What about a guy named Johnny Messer? Do you know Johnny Messer?
I do not.
All right. So after you talked to Brad Holder and you looked into Patrick Westfall to some degree, what and we know you talked to Mary Jacobs.
Yes.
Is that the next thing that you did, or was there something in between those two times?
During my time there, I would continue to look up leads, completely unrelated to Odinism.
Okay.
I would pick up a lead and go and investigate it. I can't recall exactly what I would have done. At one point, I think Lori was only at Delphi for maybe 2 weeks.
Oh,
And then at that point, then I was back on my own. And I think that's when I started going out on the leads with Kevin Murphy.
okay. Well, how many times do you think you went out on leads with Murphy?
Boy, I don't know.
Would it be 20 or more or 20 or less?
I would say 20 or less.
10 or more or 10 or less?
Let's go close to 10, I would think.
All right. I think we'll be getting into those because I'm going to be showing you some stuff here and seeing if it refreshes your memory.
Okay.
Okay, hold on a second. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they were prepped by a defense attorney. Nick McClellan was a defense attorney before he was a piece of shit. Oh shit, let me see what that is. No, I'm not from Indiana. I don't know when Meehan's trial is. I think wasn't he just found competent now, finally? So, but also it's federal, so it's like not like we're gonna see it anyway. Like we're not gonna get to watch it. Meehan's on trial for killing Greg Ferenczi. I didn't think it was scheduled yet. Do you think he's going to plead out? I mean, I feel like um, most federal things don't go to trial. I mean, isn't it only like, I feel like it's like 4%. Like it's something really ridiculous. The amount that actually go to trial.
For like federal crime like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them are pled.
Do you think Meehan's going to go to trial?
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes a plea.
There's been so much like the incompetence, and then now with the death penalty, it just seems like, I don't know. I mean, he's been there forever. I feel like. Don't you feel like he's been there forever? He's been there for years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was just like recently deemed competent. Like, I mean, recent.
Yeah, he was like really incompetent for a while. Like they'd been working on like getting him well, I guess.
Yeah, so he's probably. I mean, if they have actually gotten him well, it wouldn't surprise me if he takes a plea.
Because then I wonder, like, how long? Like, do they try to do stuff while you're well, like as quickly as possible? Like, because just in case you become unwell again, you know what I'm saying? Oh,
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's hard enough to get well, like mentally.
I don't know where I am. Where am I at? All right. I think we'll be getting into those. Is that where I am? Did you leave me and then come back?
Yep, whoopsie.
Okay.
It, it, I'm getting used to the buttons.
Yeah. New buttons. New phone. Who dis? Okay. All right. I think we'll be getting into those. Those because I'm going to be showing you some stuff here and seeing if it refreshes your memory.
And okay.
I know at some point in time. Okay, let's talk about Mary Jacobs.
Okay.
You said you and Murphy went out to talk to Mary Jacobs.
Yes.
Okay, what did you know going into the conversation with Mary Jacobs, and who did you know it from?
Not much information. Kevin had pretty well. It was a lead that Kevin was working on. And we went out to, because he had asked me to go with him too. So I didn't know a lot of information going into it. Probably that he would have told me on the way to Rushville.
Tell me what your memory of the conversation with Mary Jacobs or the interaction with Mary Jacobs.
Mary's house was built into the side of a hill. And I remember she invited us in the house. I remember we sat down in like, I think it was like a porch type area. And then she told us that her brother had mentioned a little bit about the girls from Delphi, but to her knowledge, it was before it had, but to her knowledge, it was before it had been on any of the news, that he would have had knowledge before the news.
Oh, Jesus. And were you interested in what Mary Jacobs had to say?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And what was that tape recorded or videotaped, if you know?
I know holy shit, I almost dropped my phone. I know I don't know. I didn't. So I don't know if Kevin videotaped or audio recorded or not.
Do you know if you took field notes?
Me?
Yes.
I couldn't find any.
Okay, I might actually have some.
Okay.
I'm curious.
So that means Jerry took his access.
They took away his access. He's like, I have no fucking idea what I did.
Yep.
I can't find any of the shit that I thought I did, so I don't know what I did. I'm curious. In a minute, I'm going to be showing you some things.
Okay.
Murph said that they were not his field notes.
Okay.
Now he's calling him Murph. I'm hoping that they're yours. That way, a mystery is solved in my world.
Okay.
Okay, so what was your takeaway with the Mary Jacobs interview?
Mary had a little lamb. Mary was a nice lady. She.
My husband said the same thing in the background, and then you said it. He was all proud of himself.
Mary was a nice lady. I didn't know that I 100% believed her on things. I definitely thought it should be looked into. She seemed truthful at the time. I guess that from here, I'm not sure
Sure.
what you're asking.
All the chat said the same thing too. Sure. And I'll get into more detail here in a minute. Before I forget, what was your feelings on Kevin Murphy as an investigator?
I didn't know Kevin Murphy before this, other than working at Notre Dame, walking around doing security. So I really didn't know any reputation or anything like that. I'd never read a report or anything like that.
In your interaction with him, did you have any reason to suspect that he was no good at his job?
No, I have no.
All right, okay. So now after Mary Jacobs was interviewed, okay, I think that's, from my knowledge, just because I'm going to be actually probably somewhat more of an expert on the flow of this than you are, because I've been digging into it.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you it this way.
Uh-huh.
I think that happened. The interview that you and Murph had with Jacobs, Mary Jacobs, was in January of 2018. Does that sound accurate?
That sounds correct, but again, I can't give you the exact yes because
Well, do you remember it being cold outside when you talked to?
I don't remember that.
Okay, and then I know that you mentioned a polygraph examination, and I believe that was on February 1st of 2018.
Yes.
Okay, tell me, how did that get arranged, and how did that all happen? The polygraph examination of Mary Jacobs.
Before that, we went to see Mary Jacobs the second time. The second time we had Aaron Campbell with us. Is it Campbell? Campbell? Like Campbell soup?
Campbell.
Campbell. What why a P? Why is the P there? I believe the intention was to have Mary call Elvis and see if she could get Elvis to make some kind of admissions on the phone. And I don't think it went well. Mary kind of froze up and she hadn't talked to Elvis, I believe, in ages. And it was just an awkward conversation. And I think Elvis eventually hung up on her.
Okay, was that interaction between Mary and Elvis tape recorded by somebody?
Not by me. I'm not sure on the others.
Okay, who else was there from law enforcement at this?
Aaron Campbell and Kevin Murphy.
Okay, is Aaron Campbell Aaron?
I think so.
Okay, so that's a male.
Yes.
I need to worry about we make damn sure who these are after what happened this morning.
Yeah.
It's not ERIN, it's a
He works for the drug enforcement section
okay.
of the state police.
Okay, and so Aaron Campbell was there and Murph was there as well.
Yes.
Okay, so after that, so that had to if my timeline is correct and your first interview with Mary was early January of 2018, and the polygraph exam was February 1st of 2018, you believe sometime in the middle, sometime in between those two dates, sometime in January of 2018 was the second interview of Mary Jacobs?
Yes.
Okay, and
Second, hold on, I gotta take my glasses off. Second, I'm not sure about interview. I know that that's when we decided to have her call Elvis.
okay, fair enough.
I'm not sure if she told her story over or I don't recall.
Thank you for saying that because I do want to make sure that we're correct. And I inserted interview and it wasn't perhaps an interview. Okay, so was it at that second interaction with Mary Jacobs, probably in January of 2018, that the topic of the polygraph examination came up, or did that come up later?
I don't know. This was kind of Kevin's lead, and he was the one setting everything up. He set up the polygraph. I did go with him where we picked up Mary and took her to Indianapolis for the polygraph.
Did the polygraph exam happen on 16th Street or someplace else?
It's wherever their criminal investigation of the lab is downtown. That's the only time I've ever been there.
Oh, okay. My experience is it's, right there on 16th Street, but I could be wrong. So what was the purpose or the goal of the polygraph examination of Mary Jacobs? We don't get to know that. That gets redacted. And so now I'm in the middle of a sentence, want to show you, and I want to ask you questions about these things. So
Okay.
I believe those ones are mine. Let me do this. Okay, before I do this and screw this up, I'm going to move things around, okay? So I'm going to move this over here, and we'll get to that in a second. The first thing I'm going to mark as Defendant's Exhibit A is something that we showed Murph when he was here last week or 2 weeks ago. It should be a 12 pages front and back document.
Yes.
Are you familiar with that document?
I was given it by Jerry Holman just Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had a chance to review that document.
Yes.
Okay, and so you're able to talk about it.
Yes.
But we're not going to get to know what you have to say because that's another page redacted. And then I'm again in the middle of a sentence. Remember or don't remember to what I just quoted.
Oh.
If you could read that first paragraph from the January 2018 interview of Mary Jacobs by ISP troopers Murphy and Purdy, the question I'm going to ask is, what else, if anything, do you not remember?
Other than that line, that's the only one I recall.
Okay, that you don't recall?
I don't recall, yes.
But you do recall Elvis, Mary Jacobs, saying that Elvis talked about having a brother and being part of a gang now.
Yes.
Okay, now even on February, I want to move to the February 2018, the next paragraph down. You were not part of this interview, is that correct?
That's correct.
Did you ever learn that Elvis had said to Murphy that if Elvis's spit is found on one of the girls, but he could explain it away, would he still be in trouble? Had you heard that before?
No.
So the first time you heard of that was when you reviewed the document that Holman gave you last Thursday.
That's correct.
Okay. Elvis Fields' cell phone. Do you know anything about Elvis Fields' cell phone information?
No.
Okay. Interview of Elvis, June 20th of 2018 in Rushville PD. You weren't. It doesn't look like you were a part of that. It says interviewed by Ferenczi and Murphy.
That's correct.
Okay. You want me to go on then?
A lot of this was completely news to me. I didn't know that Murphy or Ferenczi had been working on or anything, so.
Okay, well, let's move ahead on the third page there. It's Abrams interviewed by...
Okay.
Rod Abrams interviewed by Murphy and Ferenczi on August 29th, 2018. Now you're out of the picture by then. Is that
Yes.
correct? And so I'm going to be calling on you as an investigator, somebody that's done a lot of investigation in his life, and that's, even though you weren't involved in this interview, would you be concerned as an investigator that Rod Abrams' alibi doesn't really check out, or do you even interpret it that way? I'm talking about Abrams' interview by Murphy and Ferenczi on August 29th of 2018.
I'm not sure of your question.
I'm going to move on.
Okay.
That's bad. It doesn't make sense to me either as I'm sitting here thinking about it. At the bottom of page 3, Elvis Fields, Brad Holder. Elvis mimicked various and numerous Facebook posts that are on Holder's Facebook page. Did you know that?
No.
Okay, do you know whether Logan, at the bottom of that page and the top of page 4, do you know whether Logan Holder was in school on the 13th of February? Did you know that?
I don't know. I know the girls had a built-in day. I'm not sure. I probably did back then, but I don't know now.
Fair enough. On page 4, Johnny Messer, you said that earlier you had not talked, you didn't know about Johnny Messer until Thursday.
No, reading this report was the first time I'd ever heard that name.
Thank you. Okay, then Taylor Hornaday is interviewed by Assistant Chief Todd Click of the Rushville Police Department. Did you ever meet Chief Todd Click?
Of which police department?
Of Rushville.
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay, did you ever interview Elvis?
No.
Okay, well that helps because I think Elvis was interviewed February 28th of 2017 at the Rushville Police Department. He was?
Oh,
This one
okay.
is 2018. Does that ring a bell?
No.
Okay, on page 5, that's a long narrative report of interviewing Taylor Hornaday, the ex-girlfriend of Johnny Messer. I want you to put your investigative hat on, and I'm going to read you part of that and ask you what, if anything, you would have done in view of this. Quote, Taylor remembered that Messer and she were fighting on Valentine's Day of 2017. The fight was due to the fact that Messer was up there with the Vinlanders around Valentine's Day, and he did not acknowledge the day or want to be around her that day, end quote. And if you knew that Johnny Messer was from Rushville and quote unquote up there was Delphi, would that pique your interest as an investigator that this guy from Rushville was, according to his ex-girlfriend, up there, and Murph told us last week that up there was Delphi, he confirmed, would that have any impact on you as an investigator?
That's tough to say. I mean, I would have to know the whole picture.
Okay.
I mean, there was a lot of people in Delphi on the 14th, so it...
Johnny Messer's from Rushville. Did you see on the top of page 6 that they actually pulled off some tape recordings of Messer offering money to kill people, to have them injured or killed, and bragging about holding a suspect hostage and shooting them at his house? Do you remember reading that when you reviewed this document?
I don't remember, but I read the document, so...
It's at the top of page 6.
Okay.
And it's a little unfair, and I understand that, to ask you about the things that you didn't get involved with, but I'm trying to understand the mind of an investigator, a seasoned investigator. So if Messer, hold on, stupid bug. If you learn that Messer is from Rushville but has friends who are named Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall up in Delphi and Logansport, does that pique your interest?
Again, I would have to know the whole picture.
All right, we'll continue on, especially, okay.
That's a tough thing to answer.
Sure, all right, we'll move on to the middle paragraph.
Okay.
Of page 6. Taylor Hornaday is talking again. This is part of her, if you look at the previous on page 4, this is still Taylor Hornaday talking, or the memorialization of Taylor Hornaday talking to Murph. Quote, she does not recall if Messer came home before, on, or after February 14th. She did say that Messer was driving her 2001 Chevy Red Suburban. She recalls being even more angry with him because she noticed something like blood on the side of the vehicle. So I'm gonna start giving the context for you because everything I'm gonna say is accurate off this report. So Messer, who knows Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall and is friends with them, is also from Rushville, 126 miles away, 2 hours away. He was up in Delphi around Valentine's Day. Taylor Hornaday let Messer, Johnny Messer, her then boyfriend, borrow her car, and when he comes back, there's blood on the side of the vehicle, according to her. Now, with that context, are you interested in Johnny Messer and a full-on investigation of him?
Again, without knowing all of the, I mean, I definitely would probably want to follow up.
All right, hold on again, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What happens if you also learn that Messer also knows Elvis Fields and Rod Abrams? Throw that into the context. So Rod Messer, and he knows Elvis. He knows Rod Abrams down here in Rushville, and he knows Patrick Westfall and Brad Holder up here in the Delphi area. And Elvis, has his sister at least has said he basically admitted that he was involved in that crime somehow. How is that being processed by a seasoned investigator, that context?
I almost think that each point would need to be broken down.
Okay, all right. Let's move on to page 9. Talking now to Amber Holder. This is a memorialization of Amber Holder's conversation with Murphy. And second paragraph, Amber stated that Brad refused to speak about Patrick Westfall. She had never met Patrick. She stated that Brad spoke of Patrick one time when he was intoxicated and said that he and Patrick got into a fight and they no longer speak to each other. He told her that he and Westfall were in the woods near a river conducting a ritual. One of them said or did something the other did not agree with, and they no longer talked to each other, end quote. What's a seasoned, and I know you weren't on this at that point in time, but what does a seasoned investigator at that moment in time think about that piece of information?
Again, I would want more information.
Are you interested though? Like I can tell you what, like this is my opinion.
Okay.
I can tell you what the world would think. They would read that and they would think that's crazy. That nobody would be that is, if there's a moderate amount of interest in that, there should be a major amount of interest in that. Why would a person with that thought process, just a regular Joe on the street, be wrong in thinking that way? Because I can tell you, the people that I shared that with, the people that I'm allowed to talk to, the gag order, and so redacted, and then we're on to this one.
Wait, what happened?
That's the end of that. That's the end. I don't have it together. You didn't send it to me, and I was late, so I didn't have it. So I just have it in the volumes. So it's a redacted page, and then come back to me in the middle of a sentence again. Look into that based upon.
I think I would look into anything anybody told me. I mean, I think the leads were followed up at Delphi.
I mean, earlier you had talked about connection, and that's an important part of an investigator's job, trying to connect dots.
Right.
And I think as I'm reading all of this, I'm like, there's a giant group of connections here starting to form.
Okay.
And again, I totally understand this is unfair for you to be sitting over there trying to look at, and it's uncomfortable probably because you're like, well, gosh, I don't want to be overlooking somebody else's investigation, right? I'll just move on. I'll just move on to the other stuff. And I'm
Okay.
Do you want to move on to page 10?
Okay.
On 1, 2, it's right under second Amber Holder interview. I'm going to quote off of it. Okay, I have to take another break. I apologize. I have these children's that are needy today.
Yeah, they're needy. Yeah. Yeah, the want to just move ons are kind of annoying. I agree, Bridget. Like, don't make excuses for them. Like, I know that it's not fair because you were not part of this. You're not part of this. It's like, okay, but that's not what you're asking him. You're asking him if he was brought this information as an investigator, a seasoned investigator, what he would think about it. To me, he seems a little more closed off than he was to start. He seems like now that, well, and also you have to remember that while he didn't know all this other stuff, he did meet with Brad Holder to get his expertise about Odinism. So I could see this making him a little uncomfortable because he didn't think Holder was weird. He thought he was an expert. Yeah, he shouldn't be nice to any of these motherfuckers. Yeah, this feels like it's full of Christmas cheer. I think we're like a third of the way through, guys. Are you making bagel bites? No. I'm making the meatloaf and mashed potatoes and corn. But it's the brown gravy that I was mixing. Bagel
So
bites.
Rosie says, we didn't mark 1. The witness, that's you. Sorry.
This is A.
Rosie says, oh, that's marked?
Yeah, it's A.
Okay, so defendant's exhibit B was marked for identification. Okay, Baldwin says, I'm going to do B here. Ask if you can review that.
Put this one back.
I think you can just leave it there. That's fine.
Okay.
Thanks. This is for the record, the polygraph exam that I think from February 1st, 2018, but I want you to review that and
Okay.
tell me when you're ready to talk about it.
Okay.
So were you at this polygraph examination? Is that right?
I was in the building. I was not in. I couldn't hear it as it's going on. She took her back. She took her back into another room then. So.
Oh, okay. So that's redacted. 2 pages of redactions.
When this polygraph was given, she had, to my knowledge, she had never mentioned Daniel Nations when we had interviewed before, and I thought that was something that she just added to it just to try to make her look more truthful.
Oh, what? Right.
Who the fuck are they talking about?
This is during the polygraph that she said something about Daniel Nations so that she looked more believable, like Mary Jacobs did?
The other thing was she said he kept saying down the hill and chuckling. If this would
Yeah,
have happened, if this would have happened before it was on the news,
right.
that wouldn't have been something that, I mean, Elvis wouldn't have known that that statement would have meant something, 3 months later. So I just kind of questioned whether maybe the timing of when she actually picked Elvis up. I think she thought, I mean, in my mind, what she was telling us, she thought was truthful, but I questioned the time frame of when this actually occurred. I think in my mind, it occurred actually after this had all been on the news. So instead of finding it incredibly fucking suspicious that he knows things that have not been put out yet, which is one of the reasons why you hold things back, you were like, oh, maybe this lady's lying because he wouldn't have known this because otherwise he'd be like involved in this crime because it wasn't on the news yet.
Right. I don't know.
These folks are worthless, man. Oh, and here's Baldwin. He totally agrees with them. No, no,
I
I
totally
disagree.
agree with you. No, you don't, Baldwin. You better not. That was my concern, and that's why it was important for me to locate things that tied him into the crime scene or to Delphi independently of what media was out there. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
What? Is that you and I share the same concern? No, I don't think we do. I don't
Right.
think we have the same concern at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and although Daniel Nations didn't have a perfect alibi, I'll say, I'm fairly certain he was not there, but I could be wrong. So I had the same issues, but then I read that he used sticks to give her horns. What would you, as an investigator, getting back to that question, what might you do to determine whether or not that is an important detail that Mary Jacobs claimed Elvis said?
Again, on the initial interview, I think it was more of he was burying her in the leaves. And I think Murphy said, and sticks. And she said, yeah, that he was burying sticks too. So, I kind of questioned again, Mary was a sweet lady and very fragile. And I think she wanted us to like her and she wanted us, but I just kind of questioned too. Oh God.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 4 pages of redactions that we don't get to know about. It is unreal. You cannot make this up, Kate. You're right. Okay, so I'm in the middle of another question after 4 pages of redactions. Horns in the Odinite religion.
That I don't know.
All right, I'm just going to give you this is just off the internet on a simple Google search, Defendant's Exhibit D. When you did a Google search, did you see anything like this?
Wait.
Did I skip something? All right, I'm just going to give you this is just off the internet on a simple Google search, Defendant's Exhibit D. When you did a
Mine
Google search,
says, oh, wait. Oh, never mind. I scrolled down. I was so confused. Okay, go ahead.
okay, when you did a Google search, did you see anything like this?
I don't recall ever seeing this before.
So do you recall seeing any Odinite like photographs or images involving humans having horns on their head when you were doing a simple Google search of Odinism?
I don't recall.
Okay, all right. I'm next going to hand you, what is that? C?
This is D.
D? All right. Okay, I'm going to hand you E. This, for the record, is what we're calling our firm the Winters Report, which you had nothing to do with. But if you take a second to review that, and I will ask you questions about that. And then McClelland pops in. He's like, "Do you have copies of any of these for me?" Or Baldwin says, "Sure." "You want them right now?" McClelland says, "Sure. Would have been nice if I had them before the deposition, but." Baldwin
Please
says,
go fuck yourself.
"Why the fuck is that even a thing?" Baldwin says, "Well, I remember for 30 years of doing this, I don't typically do that." McClelland says, "Good for you. What about all these other exhibits you put in today?"
Wow.
Wow, what a fucking dick.
He does not like any of this.
Good for
Talking.
you. Oh my gosh. Baldwin says, I've got copies of all of that stuff for you. Then they discussed something off the record.
Maybe he told him he was being a cunt.
Yeah, stop being a dick. I'll have everything that you want. Why are you being a dick right now when all the other depositions you haven't had this problem?
What an asshole.
Just tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
So Sergeant Holman told us last week that he had seen that these images that are described on the second page under this, quote, the provided media pictures show unknown girls believed to be deceased with sticks placed over their bodies, end quote. And it's from Holder's media accounts, quote, depicting tree limbs on the ground displaying runes consistent with the Odin system belief. Quote, the provided media pictures show unknown girls believed to be deceased with sticks placed over their bodies, and that's the report. And then Baldwin says, I'm going to make this. What number are we at?
I've got E.
Rosie says, I think we're on F. Baldwin, F is on two sides. F is what was contained in the Dropbox that Holder and the Holder media account. On the other side is the crime scene. All right. So now if it is accurate that was in the media account attributable to Brad Holder, that front side image, are you starting to become more interested in Brad Holder?
My understanding is that photo that he had on his Facebook was from like 5 or 6 years earlier. I don't know if it's a common thing with the Vinlanders or the Odinists who do this kind of thing, but it wasn't like it was done after the girls had been killed.
So you're not interested in it?
I wouldn't say I'm not interested. I'm just saying that it wasn't like an immediate that he did it right after the girls had been killed.
When you were looking into Brad Holder for the period of time that you did you see that image somewhere on his Facebook page?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, this is what he turns around on the stand and says he never saw it on his Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
He only saw the picture of it with the Facebook, but he never saw it on his Facebook page. So he here says yes twice. The other, so the timing of it mattered to you, that it was so old. Is that what you're saying?
I won't say necessarily the timing. Again, I think it's everything. We're looking for who killed the girls. We're looking for someone and not necessarily what they're putting on Facebook. So, it's just one thing that we're looking at.
Okay, it's like a piece of a puzzle.
Exactly.
I'm going to hand you, Rosie says G. That gets redacted. That's 3 pages of redactions. I'm again in the middle of a fucking sentence. Is the tree.
I have the tree on the back of this.
Just to be consistent, I'll give you this. I appreciate you letting me know that. Tell me when you've had a chance to look at I.
Okay.
Tell me when you're ready to talk about I.
I'm ready.
Okay. So we've talked about this already, and even Tony Portwood said that could be some type of bad Odin symbol. Is that correct? It could be a hand smear, but it could also be.
I don't know about a bad Odin symbol. If it's the Fehu, it means cattle or wealth, and I don't know if that was a bad.
I'm going to be right back. It'll take me 30 seconds. Go ahead and give him that next one. Did you do that yet? Okay, and then Rosie, I gave him that one. That's the one he's holding.
I've got this one too, and then there's this on the back.
Baldwin says, yes. What's that one marked? And that's all redacted. Another page redacted.
No.
And Seuss, and F is Odin. Hail Odin. Have you ever heard that?
No.
Hail on the girls, Odin on the tree. That's not been talked about?
No.
All right, so we're looking at the side-by-side. Do you see a similarity between the side-by-side on the tree, the red on the tree, and the sticks on the ground?
Similarities. I mean, the picture, this is probably a better picture, but they both look like possibly an F. There's no line going across here.
On the bottom line of the F.
No.
Yeah, and I'm representing to you, I believe accurately, that the F in stick form on the ground was on Brad Holder's Facebook page. Does that look familiar to you?
Yes.
The fact that there are sticks on the ground that form an F, and there's an F, well, what appears like it could be an F on the page of redactions. So that's all, who knows what the fuck it was. So now a new question. So if you don't mind, I'm going to come around and mark those K and L.
Okay.
So I'm marking out the K and putting on L next to it. I'm marking out the J.
I've got a J here.
So it'd be K and L. Okay, so I'm handing you now in the hard sticker K and L.
Okay.
Tell me when you're ready to talk about those.
Okay.
So you know what those are, K and L?
Pictures? I've never seen them before.
Okay, those were on Brad Holder's Facebook page.
Okay.
From February of 2018. So you didn't start investigating Brad Holder until May or June of 2018. Did you see that image represented by J and K that you're holding right now? Did you see that on Brad Holder's Facebook page? I think he's
I don't
dates
recall. I don't recall seeing it, and it's K and L.
K and L, thank you. All right, is there anything of note there that you look at what's represented by K and L as an investigator where you might think, that's interesting. That's something that might cause me to look at Brad Holder as a suspect. I will also represent to you that Brad Holder represents that is a painting that he painted.
Okay.
In February of 2018. Is there anything about those images of K and L as an investigator that would cause you some intrigue?
I mean, it's a disturbing photo or disturbing picture, but I don't know that I can really determine that. I mean, I think as I looked at the internet, there was a lot of people with disturbing photos on their Facebook.
What about at the bottom? It took me a while to figure this out. Actually, Ryan Boucher down in Georgia is the one that pointed to this redacted page. And I'm in the middle of another sentence, and it's even an accurate alibi. Do you think that alibi is legit?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Thank God. Yes, I sure can. Even if Brad Holder's alibi is legit, knowing that Mary Jacobs claims that her brother told her that when he was up doing whatever he was doing, that he now had brothers and was part of a gang, does that cause you as an investigator to think maybe Holder, even if he had an alibi, was kind of the ringleader and had other people doing his business for him? Maybe he's smart enough, Holder is, to actually get an alibi so that he doesn't have this pinned on him. Do you think that's a crazy thought on my part?
I think it could be looked into, yeah.
As far as the alibi is concerned, that's not on you because you didn't. You came in way later, and they first talked to him on February 17th. But how far is it from Buffalo, Indiana to Delphi?
I'd have to look that up.
About 45 minutes?
Yeah, it was a distance.
Could have been there by 3:30, but Brad Holder says he was at the gym in Logansport. Do you know if that was looked into, whether he was at a gym in Logansport?
That I don't know.
Are you familiar with the sketches 1 and 2 that were released to the public?
Oh, God, yes.
I'm going to hand you M.
Thank you.
And I'm going to hand you N. Are you familiar with those 2 sketches?
Yes.
You know who Sarah Carbaugh is?
Yes.
Do you know who Betsy Blair is?
Yes.
Okay, do you know which one of those is the Sarah Carbaugh sketch?
Yes, the one on the left here.
Sketch 2?
Sketch M.
Did you have anything to do with decision making on those sketches when those sketches were released, or which ones were released?
No.
Is it your understanding that sketch 1 and sketch 2 are supposed to be Richard Allen?
It's not my understanding, no.
What is your understanding?
It's just these were sketches done by possible witnesses.
If Jerry Holman has said that both of those sketches are supposed to be Richard Allen,
Okay.
he said that last week. Do you think that either one of those look like Richard Allen?
I've not seen Richard Allen, so.
All right, fair enough. Do they look those are exhibits M and N, is that right?
Yes.
Do exhibit M and exhibit N look like each other?
No.
That's very clear.
Yes, but I also thought that there's more than one person involved too.
Bada bing, bada boom. Well, Jerry Holman said that those 2 they look similar to him. Do you think they look similar to you?
They don't look similar to me.
Do you know who Teresa Liebert is?
No, I have a guess, but no.
Her husband was one of the suspects. I'm going to hand you O. I'm going to represent to you that Teresa Liebert is on the Weber side of the High Bridge. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay, where the famous video was taken, right?
Yes.
And Teresa Liebert saw somebody before noon on February 13th, and that's the sketch that came from that. I'm going to represent that to you, okay?
Okay.
Okay, now we're talking about Exhibit P, but that one's redacted. Okay, so now I'm in the middle of a sentence again. In O and P is a closer similarity than to sketch 1 and 2 are to each other.
Yes.
So Teresa Liebert believes, I've talked to her, she believes that the person she saw that morning at the end of High Bridge where the girls were, where the famous video allegedly came from, that she thinks that that person that she saw was headed toward the High Bridge and might have been below the High Bridge while somebody else was on the bridge forcing those girls down the rest of the bridge. What do you think of that theory? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't have any thoughts on that.
Looking at Elvis Fields from 2 hours away in Rushville, Indiana, here's what we now know, and I just want your thoughts on this. You have to trust me on some of it because, you know, you weren't involved in Johnny Messer, for example. There are 6 ways that Elvis Fields is tied into the crime scene or to Delphi. I've shared with you some of them. Some of them you may not agree with, like the horn that he says he formed sticks into horns, and we have this photograph. Johnny Messer is a friend of his, and he's also a friend of Brett Holder's. Johnny Messer had blood on his vehicle from being up in Delphi the 13th and the 14th, according to his girlfriend. Elvis Fields says, I'm part of a gang. I have brothers. And then there's the Teresa Liebert sketch, which would be another potential indicator that Elvis might have been up there. Having said all that, do you think it is worth reopening an investigation into Elvis Fields and to Brad Holder based upon everything you've seen today?
Well, that wouldn't be my decision to make, first off.
Well, sure.
And I'm not sure about some of Elvis's statements because they're coming from Mary Jacobs, and I don't know how much I believed of Mary Jacobs. So that's a tough, I don't know if you mentioned blood on the side of the car. Was that car ever found, and was blood found to be on the car, and was it from the girls? We had a lot of leads of people like that.
I mean, you win in some cases as detectives with a redacted page. So I'm going to hand you R. Can you identify what R is for me?
It says Holder 2/17/2017, Facebook post later deleted from his account.
Have you ever seen that before? What's depicted in Defendant's Exhibit R?
No, I've never seen this before.
Sarah Carbaugh's younger. Not like teenager.
She was like
She was
22
in
or
her
something.
20s at the time. Could you read that out loud for me?
Your real ones don't judge you. Your real ones don't judge you or ask a bunch of questions. They help you move the body and never speak of it again.
What's the date of that post?
March 15th. Okay, down at the bottom, it looks like he shared it on February 17th.
So this is May 15th? That's weird. Okay, February 17th, 2017. What happened on that date? The girls were abducted, right?
On February 17th?
Right, I'm wrong on that. It was 3 days later, 3 days after the girls were murdered. Brad Holder puts that Facebook post out and then deletes it. Does that cause you any thoughts on whether Brad Holder should be investigated and reopened as a suspect?
Again, that's a tough. If Brad Holder put this out on his Facebook and the girls were just killed, I'd probably take it off my Facebook too because it would make it look bad. So I don't know what his thinking was.
What about the thinking to put it on in the first place on February 17th, 3 days after the girls were dead? I mean, it's the same day that he was brought in for questioning. Let's just be clear on what date that actually is.
Mm-hmm.
The first interview that Brad does with law enforcement.
Which later disappeared.
Which, yeah, got deleted. I mean, I'm not trying to be smart here. I'm really not, man. I'm bothered. I'm bothered by all of this.
But I'm not sure what was going through Brad Holder's head. Why I would think that if Brad Holder killed the girls, he wouldn't want to put anything that looked like an Odinist on the crime scene because it would point right back to him.
Getting into the mentality of somebody that would kill girls like that in a sacrificial way.
The U.S. Marshal's report said that there was no record of sacrifice amongst.
Redacted. 2 pages of redactions. Why would that get redacted? Okay. Cut with some type of.
Yes, it looks like it was cut.
So then go back to Brad Holder. I'm sorry, Patrick Westfall's. And I want you to read what is going on in that Facebook post.
Cutting runes.
Who's saying that?
Brad Holder.
Okay, and what is Patrick Westfall doing there?
He's got a saw and then looks like he's cutting something.
I would say that they're sticks.
Okay.
All right, well, now we've got this whole new thing going on. If that is a stick that has been been cut clean using a saw of some type, does that as an investigator cause you any thoughts of, I wonder if they brought their own sticks to the scene, or if they had an organization so organized that they had saws they're at the scene. And if I look at this Patrick Westphal image, maybe it came from him, the guy who Brad Holder told his ex-wife Amber Holder was responsible for killing those girls. So my question is, what about Patrick Westphal? And then we're going to redact two pages in the middle of a sentence. Again, according to Amber Holder, that caused their friendship to end. I would just think that an investigator would be salivating over that alone, let alone everything else that I've provided you today. Are you salivating over the possibility that Brad Holder and Patrick Westphal were too quickly eliminated as suspects? It's a weird way to say that, Andy.
Uh-huh. And again, I don't know what the whole picture is. That's probably more of a question for Jerry Holman or the prosecutor here, because I don't know what follow-up would have been done. I'm assuming some type of, you have somebody who says that, yeah, Brad told me he did it. I'm assuming there would have been some type of follow-up. Same way with, you mentioned the blood on the one person's car door. I'm assuming there would have been some wanting to check and see if there was actually blood on the car door, try to verify details. So I can't answer.
Sure.
Sorry.
You're good. Again, for the millionth time, I recognize how unfair this is. I'm just telling you, this is where I'm so transparent. I'm giving Nick a lot of our ammunition out of the hopes that somebody is going to do what wasn't done, apparently, or somebody that explains to me why this stuff wasn't done. That's why we are doing this. We could spring this up at trial, but we're not doing that. I mean, if you were asked to continue to work on this case, would you be willing to do that?
Coming into this, I was not a homicide investigator. This was actually the first homicide I'd ever worked on from an investigation standpoint. I would definitely think I would want more experience looking back.
Fair enough. Where are we?
We are at S.
So this will be T. This is the handwritten notes that I'm trying to figure out that Murph said were not his. I'm going to ask you, I think there's not a date on here, but I think this was from the January 2018 interview with Mary Jacobs. I'm hoping you can tell me whose notes those are, whose handwriting.
They would not be mine.
Do they look familiar to you?
No.
I'm going to include that in there. I'm sorry, I don't have a copy of that. I'm just trying to figure out whose notes those are.
Okay.
All right. I'll hand you now. I have some of these, but not all of them. Single color photo of Elvis's brass knuckles I do not have, but that's what you is. Does that look familiar to you?
No.
I'll represent to you that this is what was given to us in discovery and represented on Elvis Fields' Facebook page. Okay, now V. Now I'm going to hand you V, and this is right out of the discovery that was given to us talking about connections. I believe it was Ferenczi that put this together, but I could be wrong. I'm trying to figure that out. Mimicking Brad Holder and Elvis Fields mimicking each other on Facebook. If that is accurate, that's an unusual thing. Brass knuckles surrounded by different weapons. Would that be useful in trying to determine whether there's a connection between Elvis Fields and Brad Holder?
This document?
Yes.
No.
Why not?
It's a picture. I mean, each of them have brass knuckles in the picture. There's knives, and this one's got a gun.
That might just be a giant coincidence.
Well, I mean, you asked my opinion.
Sure, that's what I want.
So I would say just because they both own brass knuckles, I wouldn't necessarily.
Those are both posted on their Facebook pages, though.
Okay.
So does that make a difference? Not that they own them, but they actually each posted that. Those different images on their Facebook page, would that make a difference to you? I'm sorry, I didn't explain that very well. That's on their Facebook page.
And again, I would say no. I find it a stretch that, maybe if Brad Holder had the brass knuckles in the middle and he put knives around it, then I'd say, okay, they both did the same, But just both having brass knuckles on a Facebook page, I don't know that we could probably find a lot of people that have.
What happens if Elvis Fields has admitted that Brad Holder was following him and he was following Brad Holder on Facebook? Would that make a difference to you?
As far as them knowing each other, make a difference in how?
Would that be less coincidental to you potentially that they are following each other on Facebook and mimicking if Elvis has admitted that that's what's going on?
I don't know. I guess the intention, what does that even mean to mimic a picture of brass knuckles? I'm not real sure.
So Elvis lives in Rushville, Indiana, 2 hours away from Delphi. Brad Holder lives in Logansport, very close to Delphi. They're posting similar things on Facebook, And if I tell you that Elvis would testify, if he would, that Brad Holder was following him on Facebook, and that's how those images came to be, as an investigator, please tell me that that would be of interest to you.
I think you know that he's following him on Facebook. I mean, what does that even mean? I mean, I follow Brad Holder on Facebook.
What? All right.
I'm not sure putting brass knuckles on a Facebook page is, the girls weren't hit with, to my knowledge, with brass knuckles. I don't know how either one of those pictures maybe points to who killed the girls. I guess I'm just.
I'm Elvis Fields. I tell my sister I'm now part of a gang. I've got brothers. I have this common friend named Johnny Messer that's great friends with Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall. I'm following Brad Holder on Facebook and I'm mimicking him. I asked a question of Murphy about if I spit on the girls and it comes up, but I have a good reason for that to happen, will I still be in trouble? Are none of these? I'm just astounded. And I know it's unfair to you, but I'm going to tell you something. This is not the way the world is going to view this case. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, all eyes. That is exactly what he said. He follows Holder on Facebook. So, no big deal that Elvis does too. How the fuck do they know each other? Nobody's ever bothered to ask that question. How the fuck do they know each other to follow each other at all?
Well, because Purdy talked to him like as a subject matter expert.
Right, because he wanted to be friends.
Wait, when did Brad nuke his Facebook?
That was well after
The Franks.
Yeah.
Okay. I would have loved to have confirmed that.
Very interesting.
My belly is full. Oh my God. Why? Why did I do that?
Okay, and if I'm accurate and the world is not going to view it in that way, how would it be that an investigator seems to be so disinterested in the possibility that Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall and Elvis Fields are all involved in this? That's what I'm trying to understand with my heart. I'm saying that with my heart, like,
Andy. I mean, are you asking if I'm disinterested in the case? Is that what you're asking?
I'm asking if you're disinterested with all of this stuff that you did know and most of it you did not know. Aren't you going to walk away from here and say, oh my God, this looks like there was a dropped ball here? There's a lots of connections here between Elvis Fields and Brad Holder putting stuff on his Facebook about stuff that was at the crime scene that nobody else knows about. All of that. Aren't you walking away saying, hey, yeah, something needs to happen here? They need to investigate this. Is that how you're going to walk out of this meeting?
But I'm going to walk out of this, I guess, with confidence in my department that this is, as you say, like I said with the car door, that they would have followed up to see if there was maybe blood on a car door. It would have gone further and things that they could have checked into to verify. I don't know that I'm going to leave here thinking this case is doomed, so to speak, because nobody's looking into this. I'm assuming that.
I don't care if the case is doomed for Richard Allen. I care about the truth coming out. That's what I care about. If Richard Allen did this, then let everybody prove that. But
I've been disconnected from this case since probably March of 2018. I really can't speak on what's been done since or what background has been done other than what I've been given access to.
And with all due respect, and I mean that sincerely, because I know I'm putting you in a tough spot, and I mean that sincerely, I really do, because it is unfair for the millionth time, but you're coming off as a guy that's trying to protect the state police. That's what you're coming off as to me, and I think that's how it's going to come off to a jury, honestly.
Okay.
Do you think that I'm incorrect there? I think the jury's going to get all this stuff.
I mean, if you think I'm trying to protect the state police, you're incorrect. I just can't answer for what I don't know.
That I understand, but I was hoping that what we would get is that, wow, when I showed this stuff to Murphy, that was his reaction was, wow. Was Brad Holder ever given a search warrant?
I don't know. Not to my knowledge. I mean, I don't know after I left.
Here's what the evidence they had on Richard Allen before they got a search warrant for his house. They claimed that he was at the scene around the time the girls were killed or abducted. He has a blue jacket or had a blue jacket. He owned guns and knives. That's about it. There isn't a whole lot more than that. His car, there's some evidence that his car might have been in the vicinity at the time. This is what they had on Elvis. This is what they had on Patrick Westfall. This is what they had on Brad Holder. With all of this evidence, should they have asked for a probable cause affidavit for search warrants for Brad Holder?
And that's not for me to decide. That would be for the prosecutor to decide.
Okay, I understand. Well, I mean, Liggett asked. He's the one that asked for the search warrant. So officers do make those determinations.
Okay.
He just says, okay.
Uh-huh.
The search warrant for Richard Allen was from Liggett, supposedly, right? Yeah. Well, let me go through, because I don't know these answers. Do you know if there was a search warrant request for Brad Holder?
I don't know.
How about for Patrick Westfall?
I don't know.
How about Elvis Fields?
I'm trying to think.
There was for his blood. No, he agreed to his blood.
I don't know. I know they were going down to Rushville. There was a thought that the trailer where he was staying at, I don't know if there was ever a request for a search warrant, so I'm not 100% sure on that.
Fair enough. Do you know if there was ever a search warrant for Rod Abrams?
Not to my knowledge.
I won't even get into that, but Rod Abrams claimed that on February 13th, I'm not going to get into it, but I'm going to get into it.
Proceeds to get into it.
Yeah. But Rod Abrams claimed that on February 13th, he was up at Muncie at a hospital and gave some bogus answer. And he also claimed that who was with him? Elvis Fields. And Elvis Fields claims, no, I was in Rushville. Does that cause you any concerns when alibis, aren't consistent with one another? Does that cause you concern as an investigator?
It does, but you got to remember too, though, we're interviewing people like a year or two later. I couldn't tell you where I was February 17th of last year or February 13th of last year. I might have a good guess.
The fact that that's a good point, actually. The fact that Rod Abrams was willing to even provide an alibi for that day would mean that he was kind of aware of that day. Just a thought that entered into my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how did you end up not working on the case anymore?
My FBI credentials came through.
Okay.
So I went back to work.
Were you ever told to not work on this case?
No.
Were horns as described by Elvis had formed sticks into horns, a topic of discussion for anybody in unified command or law enforcement officers that you know?
Not that I know of.
Did it ever seem to you that Tony Liggett was interested in the Odinite angle to this case once you got on in March of 2017?
I don't know. I don't know that I had a lot of conversation with Tony Liggett, so I don't know.
What about Jerry Holman? Did Jerry seem interested in the Odinite angle when you came aboard the investigation in March of 2017?
Jerry Holman wanted to solve the case, so I think Jerry Holman was willing to look at whatever angles.
But I want to specifically talk about the angle, the Odinite angle, because you've also said that, Brad Holder, for example, was cleared early on when you started, right?
Yes.
So with that in mind, was Jerry Holman specifically interested at all in the Odinite angle when you came aboard?
When I came aboard is in March of 2018?
17.
17, you're right. I don't know. I don't know what was going on.
Is it fair to say that at a minimum, Jerry Holman, was not going up to you and saying, man, there seems like a lot of connections going on here, even at any point in time while you were on it from March of 2017 to what did you say, March of 2018?
Yes.
At any time during that year that you were on this case, did Jerry Holman ever come up to you and say, man, there are a lot of connections between this Odinite angle and Brad Holder, and even those guys down in Rushville, Elvis Fields, man, I think this is where it's at. You need to really buckle down and investigate that. Was there any conversation even remotely like that with Jerry Holman?
No.
What about Jay Harper? Did you know Jay Harper?
Yeah.
Did he have any interest in all the Odinite angle from what you can remember during the year that you were on the case?
I don't remember specific conversations. I think we would tell Jerry what we were looking into, but I don't remember specific conversations.
Have you ever had a belief that anyone is trying to bury the Odin angle for some reason in law?
Redactions.
Redacted page. So 2 redacted
Investigation.
In March of 2017?
Yes.
So basically, you could get in there and look at whatever you wanted to look at that everybody else had access to as far as you knew.
Not so much the computer. There were file cabinets if you needed to look up a person in the file cabinets. I think the reports were being printed out, and so...
Okay, and if I understood you correctly, at some point somebody was able to kind of stop that, or they were able to click a box and limit your access, right?
Yes, I believe.
And did you think that what was Holman in this particular case that was doing that? I thought maybe you mentioned him, but
Holman is who I called to get access to the reports to prepare for this. I'm not sure who shut. I was just going to say, I'm not sure who, once I left, who stopped the access.
So there became a point in time when you no longer had access.
Yes.
I think you said earlier that maybe you were getting on to look at something and you discovered you couldn't access the file. That might have been an explanation as to how you learned that, right?
And that could be. I think they called me one time about a report. And so I got on there to see if I could find it and couldn't get on the report.
Was the way this file was managed in terms of access, was it different than in a normal case? I mean, you were able to access it at one point and the next point you weren't.
You say a normal case. There are cases, high profile people, that type of thing, that maybe access is denied where they don't want everybody getting on the case report and looking at it. I remember one thing they had was people all over the state getting on wanting to see what was going on in Delphi and reading reports.
Internally?
Yeah, so I think they wanted to, that was the rumor going around. So they wanted to, at one point, I think crime scene photos were on the case report.
I was just getting ready to ask you that. So at some point early on in this investigation, let's talk about the first month or two. Do you think you were able to access crime scene photographs?
If it was, I never saw any.
But you heard that that was the case.
I heard that at one point that they were on there, yes.
Did you have any reason to believe after you conducted this investigation that any of these people associated down, let's say in Rushville, just kind of talk about the whole clan, if you will, that they might have had access to that information?
I would have no knowledge. I don't know how they would. I don't know how they would.
I mean, that would be kind of a stretch to assume that, right?
Right.
Was there any point in time, have you ever heard the phrase scene integrity or crime scene integrity?
Yes.
Do you know what that means in the law enforcement business?
I mean, scene integrity as far as the crime scene area, not allowing people in it to taint the evidence.
Do you believe in this case, based on your involvement in the investigation, that there was scene integrity maintained here?
As far as the actual crime scene,
Yes.
I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't start until later, so I'm not real sure.
Did you ever run across any information in the course of your investigation like, oh, we've got a leak or we've got a problem here internally?
I never ran across that, no.
Do you ever recall any discussions between you and anyone else involved in the case that was a concern?
Crime scene integrity? Not that I know of. I can't recall any.
I'm going to ask you these questions. Forgive me if he covered them, but I don't think he did entirely. Okay, wait a minute. Am I Rosie now?
Mhm.
I don't know. Did we switch during a...
A redacted page, maybe.
Okay. Jim Burkhart
Yes.
is with the ISP.
Yes.
Do you know where Jim is? Trooper Burkhart is these days?
Lowell Post.
How about Al Martinez? Same question.
He's a task force officer. He's out of Fort Wayne FBI office. He's a state trooper out of Fort Wayne.
Did you talk to either one of them before you came down here?
No.
Did Jerry Holman or anyone else involved in this investigation ever communicate to you that they had anyone other than Purdue take a look at the crime scene as it related to this? I'll call it this hate crime.
Jerry Holman or the second in command?
Harper?
Not Harper.
We don't really know.
No, he's the sergeant over there. Second in command of investigations.
It's got to be Vito. The guy you were talking about earlier?
Yeah, I don't know if it was him or Jerry said that the Purdue University said that they could send the photos to somebody in Germany who might be better off telling them, and I don't know if that was ever done.
Are you aware of any other information that was generated in this investigation regarding this outer night angle by an independent source other than the Purdue report, I'll call it?
I'm trying to think if the Beverly Shores, I can't remember if she gave us a report or not.
Do you remember anybody else offering you up or you receiving information from another source other than those two places possibly?
I don't recall any other. There was let me think. No, not that I recall.
There were some questions about Anthony Portwood. Do you recall those questions?
Yes,
I'm going to get a little loose with my terms here.
you're fine.
Is it your impression that Anthony Portwood practices some form of Odinism? I don't know if that's the right word. Adheres to some form of Odinism.
Yes.
Are you aware of whether or not Anthony Portwood has ever, I'll say, done any talks or seminars or lectures as it relates to that, Or is that just a coincidence in this case and he happened to be...
No, I don't think he does talks. I think he had found out that we were looking into the Odinists and wanted to know if he could help in some way.
So he came forward.
He came forward because I didn't know him before that. Because I didn't know before that he was an Odinist. I knew him before, but I didn't know that he had practiced. I didn't know him that well.
That's so fucking crazy. You worked this angle. That's why we're sitting here today.
Right, yeah.
What do you think it means practically that he is engaged in that practice? What does that mean to you now that you've worked on this?
I think from the religious standpoint,
Is it a religious group in your mind?
I respect Tony Portwood. I don't know anything about his personal life as far as what the practice looks like that his family does, so I really can't say.
You never asked him like, hey, what do you do on Saturdays and Sundays
No,
when you're engaged in these type of activities?
no.
So you don't know.
I have no idea.
There were some questions posed to you about Brad Holder and his alibi. Do you recall those questions that Andy asked you earlier? This has got to be
Okay.
Rosie. There was talk about weight rooms, and I think you guys referred to as New Buffalo or Buffalo, Indiana.
Yes.
Does that sound more accurate?
New Buffalo is where the casino is up in Michigan, right?
That's
Oh,
fine.
wait.
Okay.
Yes.
You can have it.
Yes.
New Buffalo is where the casino is up in Michigan, right?
Okay, yeah.
With regard to Brad Holder, did you personally ever vet his alibi?
As far as go there and witness I guess.
Did you ever review any information regarding his alibi whatsoever?
I went to his workplace, but it was substantially later just to find out for sure that he was not working that day or that he was working that day and they had cameras. But of course, the camera was one of those that 60 days.
Records over itself?
Exactly.
Of course. Yeah, exactly. Of course. So you were not personally ever able to, I'll say, cover or clear his alibi.
Correct.
And to the extent that you were trying to clear or cover his alibi, for what period of time were you attempting to do that?
I guess you're referring to Brad Holder?
Yeah, on February 13th.
How I was trying to clear whether, I read the report. I'm not sure the date that I would have gone to his workplace.
Let me ask it a different way. When you went and tried to clear his alibi, were you looking for evidence that he was at work between, let's just say, 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. on February 13th of 2017, generally that time frame?
Yeah, I don't recall. I don't recall what questions what specifically I was looking for when I went.
If you found out that his alibi was that he was never cleared from that standpoint, would that have changed the context of your entire investigation?
Possibly.
Because I've heard today a number of occasions where you said, well, I thought he was cleared, right?
Right.
That's fair.
Right.
I think you said that at least 3 or 4 times. If it turns out that he wasn't cleared for that time frame, might that have changed the way you view all of this stuff that you're seeing now?
Again, I'm not a homicide investigator, so I probably would have taken it to Jerry Holman or whatever to find out for sure what avenues if they wanted me to go, what direction.
It's just such an issue that everything is Jerry Holman and that fucking guy knows nothing about anything.
Hmm.
It's possible there could have just been a mistake in vetting his alibi, right?
Possible.
Or it was the wrong time. Maybe the alibi should have been focused more on the hours of 3 and 10 p.m., let's say, right?
Right.
But I get the impression that you kind of walked through this investigation. I don't mean that in an insensitive way, that you conducted your investigation basically with the idea that Brad Holder had been cleared early on in the case. It drove what you did in this case.
I won't say that it drove what I did, but I thought he had been cleared.
So you may have done less or vetted some things less than you might have otherwise if he was still on the hot seat, so to speak.
Again, I probably would have spoken with Jerry Holman if we wanted Jerry Holman and Jay Harper in the Unified Command. They were the ones more or less in charge. I wasn't part of that. I would have gone to them and spoke about it.
You don't recall doing that? And redacted, a 1-page redacted, you're in the middle of a sentence.
He had new brothers or was involved in a gang.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding time frame here. You're suggesting, correct me if I'm wrong, you're suggesting that whatever information her brother told her was information that would not have been acquired from the media.
According to her, yes. Oh, I think Rosie's on to what we caught on to.
Yeah. Were you able to figure out the time frame of the release of this information or the exchange of it from Elvis Fields to his sister?
I mean, what she claimed was like the next day, but there was no way of proving that. My thought was that, she was giving us information that Elvis told her maybe at a later time.
Okay, but did she pass a polygraph?
Yes.
So to a certain extent, it helped corroborate what she was saying to the best of your ability, at least.
It corroborated that what she was giving the polygraph operator was true to her knowledge.
We've talked a little bit about polygraphs. You guys use those pretty routinely in your...
Yeah, the state police uses polygraphs.
Did you use them back when you were working at one of the posts?
Once in a while.
You usually rely on the results of those things.
They're a good tool. They show what the person believes to have happened, but not necessarily. You have to verify what actually happened.
It's like they don't take a polygraph, they're lying. They take a polygraph, they're still lying. And they pass a polygraph, they're still lying. It's like, it just depends on whatever. So the results are really just whatever the fuck you want them to be at this point.
Correct. Exactly.
But you acknowledge that you use those in court. Prosecutors use them in court.
Stipulated ones, yeah.
And you're comfortable with that process.
I don't know enough about the polygraph, so I'm comfortable enough to get the results and rely on the operator who's more knowledgeable about that than I am.
You ever forwarded those in the course of any investigation and suggest that somebody either be arrested or charged?
I work financial crimes and I can't recall. I have not polygraphed too many people in my career.
You said you spoke with Jerry Holman about, I think you said about a week ago, maybe it was.
Yeah.
I'll say last week.
It was on Sunday because it was at the racetrack because we had to work the brickyard.
Oh, there was a
race.
That
was a race?
Yeah.
So it was a fair at a race?
Well, the race is at the fair.
Maybe.
Chelsea's I heard polygraphs are like paternity tests.
99% accuracy. 99.999999.
Oh, there was a race this Sunday?
Yeah.
Was that just a coincidence that you guys talked at the racetrack on Sunday, or was that planned? Like, hey, we're both going to be in the same airspace.
He contacted my supervisor and said, bring me over at some point and that he would talk about.
So it was planned.
Yeah. Not ahead of time, but that day he said if I was at the race to come over.
You said he talked to you about the report that's marked as Exhibit A, the 12-page.
Not at that time.
Field notes.
No, he more or less told me that I was going to be deposed.
When did he talk to you about those field notes?
I called him as soon as I got the subpoena just to find out if I could get access to reports at that point. At that point, I don't think I had access to the case reports at all. And he said he would send me a copy of this, and he did.
That report he specifically talked about.
Not at the race.
In the phone conversation.
On Thursday, yeah, he said he would send it.
What did he say?
Just that I'll send you Murphy's notes, and I don't know how much you were involved with the investigation on Elvis Fields. I'll send them to you.
Did he say anything about what we had talked to him about?
No.
Like, did he suggest to you at any point in time that he wasn't aware that those even existed up until we showed him?
No, I didn't know that.
No, I'm asking, did he suggest to you on the phone at any point in time that he was not aware of the existence of those until we brought them to his attention?
No.
Earlier, Andy asked you about those sketches. M and N are actually what they are, right?
Okay, yeah.
And we have a page of redactions, and then you're in the middle of a sentence.
One is being murdered. You would think that there would be, I don't know, some kind of struggle. I mean, I just assume there's more than one person involved.
You still feel pretty comfortable about that today. That's what you do for a living. I think it's a fair question, right?
I guess, yeah, I think that's a good possibility.
And that possibility is at least aligns to a certain extent with some of the stuff we're offering up today, that there could be more than one person involved.
Could be.
Let me hand you.
This will be why.
Okay, sorry, thanks. Let me hand you what's been marked as defendant's Y. I think that's one of the slides that was offered up as it relates to, let's just call it loosely, the Brett Holder file. Is that fair?
Yes.
And so my view of that is, my kind of layperson's view is at some point the date on there appears to be, I want to say 4 or 5 months prior to these crimes, there was a photo uploaded to Brad Holder's site. Is that right?
I'm assuming these were on his Facebook. I'm just not sure on that part.
You don't know.
I know I've seen this picture. I'm just not sure where I've seen it. Oh, yeah, it's Brad Holder right there.
So this reference to Vinlanders, does that in any way in your mind, is it affiliated or associated with this Odinism that we're talking about?
Yes.
What in your mind is the affiliation?
I think it's a group based out of Indianapolis of Odinists.
Like a subsect?
Yeah.
Subcult? You said a group from Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Yeah, so looking at this, do you know which one is McGinney? I mean, I have my suspicion, but do you know which one is McGinney? Which one is Holder, Messer, and Westfall?
I don't know this one or this one. This one is Holder and that one is Westfall.
So there's a guy here on the left, the first one from the left, if we're going left to right.
Yes.
Number 2 would be Holder,
Holder
and number 4 would be Westfall.
would be Westfall.
And you're not familiar, you don't know what Johnny Messer looks like.
Right. No.
Does the guy in image number 2, the second one from the left, which you say is Brad Holder, look similar to? There's some similarities between Defendant's Exhibit N and Mr. Holder.
Yep.
And then
So is that the sketch?
Yeah,
Is N the sketch? One of the sketches?
M and N?
Yeah.
M and N, yes.
So he just said yes, there's similarities between one of the sketches and Holder.
And then same question about, in fairness, I'm going to ask you the same question about number 4 here.
Yes.
Westfall.
Yes.
Is it fair to say even the other 2 guys there might be some similarities?
Yes.
Much more so than in Defendant's N, right?
Yes, more so.
I also noticed here in the first human here from the left, which presumably is McGinney, he's holding what appears to be a horn. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes.
Okay, so is he saying that all the guys in there have more similarities? Have similarities to the sketch?
Yeah.
Okay. Did that ever catch your eye or raise any suspicions or concerns with you at any point?
I don't recall it raising at this point, no.
I would ask you all the same questions that Andy did. Does it concern you or does that pique your interest? Is your answer going to be the same as with all of this other?
It will be the same. I would want the total picture.
Do you feel like,
And again, I would want to take this to someone that investigates homicides and let them make that final decision as well. I'm not a trained homicide investigator.
this was just a question that popped in my mind, actually totally associated entirely with another case that I was involved in 20 years ago. Do you know if they retained as evidence the sticks from the crime scene?
I don't know.
You never apparently
I've never seen them. No.
bothered to look at them? I mean, not bothered, but like you've never attempted to?
No, I would assume, but I don't know.
Was there any discussion between you and Jerry Holman about you doing any further work on this case?
No. You mean like even now?
Yeah.
No.
Beyond the deposition.
No.
Like we got to put our boots back on?
No, I live on the other side of the state, and this was a 2.5-hour drive, so.
Andy asked you some questions earlier about when you stopped working on this case, right?
Yes.
And your answer was, well, when I got my credentials.
Yes.
Did someone ask you to stop working on the case?
I don't know if the FBI baby said that his credentials are here. It was always known that I was on loan to work cases. So when my credentials came up, it was a good point. It was time to close. I know that once I went back to, at the time I was working out of the Fort Wayne office, the FBI office, I know I went with Fort Wayne Police Department to a search warrant and they interviewed somebody involving the Delphi case. I went with them on that as well. So, I mean, was still working on leads when they would come in my way.
Do you know why the FBI were no longer involved? Like why their involvement ceased?
As far as with me,
No, with the case.
that I don't know.
I mean, you're working with some of these people.
I assumed they were still involved. I didn't know that they were no longer there.
I don't have any further questions. And then Baldwin says, a couple very short. So Baldwin asks now, in talking to Mary Jacobs, did you determine whether when was the first time that Mary Jacobs, had attempted to talk to anybody about what Elvis had told her?
That I don't know.
I read somewhere that she had gone up fairly early and drove up with her husband all the way to Delphi and talked to some folks, or at least tried to.
Okay.
Does that ring a bell at all?
It doesn't. Like I said, this is Kevin Murphy would have been the one that would have gotten this tip.
Based upon your knowledge of how the tip structure was, the tip hotline was structured and people just walked in and walked up to Delphi. Did you have any knowledge of like where would they go or who they would talk to and what would have been done after that?
I think early on, as tips were coming in, they had a group of, I think they were dispatchers or office workers that were there trying to keep things sorted out. As time went on, I think it named through Unified Command, or there was, I don't know if the FBI had a tip line or the state police might have had a tip line where these come in. That I don't know.
You may not know the answer to this, but I'm just going to try to figure it out. If I wanted to find out if it's true and accurate that Mary Jacobs did come up, I think it's in a report somewhere that she did come up, or say she says that she came up to Delphi to come in person and say what she knew about what Elvis had told her closer in time, perhaps even before that stuff was out in the media. Do you know where I would go to find that?
I would check with Jerry Holman. Yeah, he could direct you.
That guy can't direct you to his fucking ass. Did Unified Command have an opinion on the number of people that were involved in the actual murder of these girls?
That I don't know.
Did you ever talk to Jerry Holman about that? Like how many people were involved?
No.
Or Tony Liggett?
No.
That's all. Rosie says, I have nothing further. Nick, do you have any questions? Apparently Nick doesn't even fucking answer.
Mm-hmm.
There's no answer from Nick. He must just shake his head no.
Or got up and walked out like a douche.
Probably. He's like, well, good for you. Good for you guys and your silly questions.
That's exactly him.
I know. Fucking, I can't be such a dick. I love Rosie.
He really is.
I think Rosie is typically a much better questioner. Baldwin is like, I'm nice and people may want to tell me things because I'm so nice to them. But in the context of what he's trying to do in these depositions, he's not the one. Like, he's the one who should talk to like witnesses that are scared. You know what I mean? Like, that's like a Baldwin role because he's got that like, everything's going to be okay. Like, we'll take care of you. And then Rosie's more like the, right to the point, bada bing, bada boom. This is what I want to know. Do you have a fucking answer? If you don't, I'm moving on.
Which deposition was it that we were like, wow, Andy like really took his meds today?
Oh, I don't remember, but I do remember that. I remember like Andy was
he was on point one after the other.
I was like, dang, he's just like, either he's done with these and he's just like, fuck this, I'm done. I don't remember whose it was, but it was somebody. Was it?
I don't either. It could have been Holder.
It was one of the, it might have been Holder. It was one of the older ones. It was one of the ones that we read in the first batch of depos, not one of these. No, it was.
Yeah, it wasn't from this batch.
Yeah, it was definitely from the older batch. So I think that like they both have their positives, and I think they really should have leaned more towards those. Elvis Fields moved August 30th during trial to an undisclosed location, according to Click. I thought he just moved to that other trailer. You think it was Holman's? I don't think it was Holman's. It's definitely not. It wasn't in this batch. Maybe it was Holman. No, was it Holman's? Shit, I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't remember. I just remember thinking that one time we were like, damn, Andy is on it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just thinks like, if I'm nice to these people, because like he doesn't in his interviews too, he says this all the time. He's like, I've done this for so long and I know all these people. Like we just talk to each other and like we just try to figure out like the best resolution. You know what I mean? Like he's just like, that's like how he is. He's just like, yeah, we just figure it out. And
I think he thought people were going to be honest.
He has that. I don't know why. I mean, he's a fucking criminal defense attorney. He should know that people are not honest.
You would think.
Yeah.
Well, no, I should rephrase. I think that he thought that like the prosecutor and the people, like those kinds of people, like they were going to be honest and like professional.
Yeah. Little did he know. They don't roll like that.
Not at all.
All right, so tomorrow we get to do Tobe. Tobe. Hi, Travis. I even get to
We
say
will
hi to
be here
anybody
in disguise.
Yeah, in disguise. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what Tobe has to say.
Depending what time we do it, I'll even have a chance to get like a voice thingy, which I didn't have time to do yesterday like I wanted to. But maybe tomorrow, maybe I'll rest really well tonight and then tomorrow I will.
Okay, do you want to do earlier tomorrow? I'm around I am around earlier tomorrow if you want to do earlier, but I don't know what's on your schedule.
I don't know beyond sleep right now.
Okay.
I mean, I can let you know when I wake up and you'll probably still be asleep.
That's probably true. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll schedule it for the 3 o'clock. And we can switch it if you want to.
Okay.
Does that work?
6, you mean 6 my time, 3 your time?
3 Pacific, 4 Mountain, 5 Central, 6 Eastern. Across the pond, you got to do your own math.
Yeah, and then we can bump it up if we need to.
Yeah, we can bump it up. Cardigans? Are we wearing our cardigans? Okay. Any other final thoughts on this? I know you are done for the day. You're just like, I want to go to bed. So, any other final thoughts on Roland Purdy?
Nope. It's another one that doesn't know anything, I guess. Oh, the only thing that was like super interesting to me was that whole comment about it being Odinists, but that it might not be these particular Odinists. Oh, right. There was also that he's friends with him on Facebook. I find that strange.
That is really fucking strange.
Like, why are you friends with Brad Holder on Facebook? So that was before he knew his Facebook.
Well, and the fact that he is very adamant that Trooper X is some form of Odinist. But at this point in time, Baldwin and Rosie didn't know the differences to ask the right question on what he actually was.
Right.
So they're like, do you practice Odinism? He's like, nope, sure don't. And then they're like, okay, we can't get you for perjury because you practice Norse paganism.
Don't, technically. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think that's interesting too. All right, you guys. So as always, thank you guys for being here. We did this in a pretty good amount of time, 2.5 hours. I'd say it's not too shabby.
No, that's great, but there was a lot of redactions. So,
right, another trooper passing the buck to Holman, who can't find a fucking hole.
Yep.
If somebody paid him to. So go enjoy the rest of your Saturday, everybody. As of right now, we're going to shoot for 3 Pacific, and if we can do earlier, I'll just change the time on the live. So as soon as I set the live up, which I'll do as soon as we're off of this one, I'll set the live up. Just hit the notification bell on that so that you guys can all be notified to what time it is tomorrow. As of right now, it's going to be at 3 o'clock. If we can shoot for, I mean, it's not going to be like anything fucking crazy early. So if like we change it, we're just changing it a little bit. It ain't going to be like like 7 a.m. my time or anything stupid. So like,
no, we're not going to change it by hours and hours and hours. No.
Yeah, no, just maybe a little bit earlier if we can get to it. Yeah. Otherwise, just same time, same bad channel. And as always, I know you have 1,000 other places you can spend your time, and you choose to spend your time here with us, and we love you for it. Go have a great Saturday. We'll see you mañana.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Do you dare to follow me down? Head into the unknown, down the rabbit hole, where it stops, no one knows. try to follow